You're watching Suck Professor. Hello, everybody. It's me, Hank. I'm joined by...
James.
James! Hey, James!
Hello.
Welcome to our Twin Peaks episode recap, shot by shot. We got all kinds of screenshots here for everybody. Which one is this, 14?
Yeah, did you know they actually aired this one early in Germany by mistake instead of the last episode?
Typical Germany.
So some people have seen this already.
Oh, man. All right. Well,
had seen it before we saw it.
Well, anybody who hasn't seen it is in for a real treat, James, because we're going to really break it down. But yeah, welcome to the channel, guys. It's really kind of a long discussion / podcast, so it's not we don't have all the details figured out. Although James knows the stuff. You saw this one twice.
Yeah, I saw this one twice. I was kind of falling asleep last night, so I wanted to watch it again, so I got a real feel for it. I didn't want to gloss over anything at all, and I've been checking on Reddit for different little theories of things people caught, and I've recorded some of my favorite stuff that I've read so far and added it to my own index of things that I noticed.
Awesome. And I just watched it, but I fell asleep for about 5 minutes, so sorry about that. I shouldn't admit that. By the way, James, you got great handwriting. James,
this is crappy handwriting. This is chicken scratch.
I like it. It's nice and straight lines. It's hard to do with handwriting. Okay, it is serial killer handwriting. Let's get it. All right, here we go. We're gonna get into the thing. This is opening shot. There's the thing. There's the thing. Hey, I never noticed.
There's the thing. There's the.
What, trees aren't things? Are you trying to take away?
Absolutely not.
I never noticed the building in this shot though. Mm-hmm. Is that new?
I don't think so.
David Lynch, directed by. All right, Buckhorn, South Dakota. So this is really the opening shot here. We assume this is Agent. Deputy Director Gordon Cole. I mean, when you see South Dakota, you know it's the FBI.
That's the hotel that he's staying in.
Yeah, that's where they're chilling now. But he's dialing a phone and calls up our old pal Lucy, who has grown on me. I at first was very critical of her. I found her perplexing and annoying.
And this is really important because the whole time.
Let me just finish that thought. She's just I find her very charming. So go ahead.
That was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I just want to get to the end of my sentence.
Okay.
Yeah. She's no longer annoying to me. I find her charming. I want to marry her and have her babies. I want her to impregnate me. All right, now your turn. You okay?
I'm trying to think of what I said.
Oh, I messed up your train of thought. Yes. The importance of this scene. He's calling to talk to Harry Truman.
The significance of this is that we've been waiting this entire time for the FBI to reach Twin Peaks to make the connection between the two places to finally have some forward progress, some momentum going on.
Right. These two law enforcement bodies are kind of the core of the show, the Twin Peaks guys and the FBI dudes.
Yeah, because we've been strung along before by the Fusco brothers making the connections that we've been waiting for them to make and then throwing it away as an absurd, implausible theory.
Yeah, playing grab ass in the office.
Yeah, so finally after a bunch of hit and miss politics between the FBI and the local sheriff, we get a connection.
Yeah, yeah. And Cole has a connection. He does recognize Lucy. Apparently he's terrorized her ears before, because when everybody he speaks to, they go, they have this like jolt on the phone, like, oh God, Jesus, what are you yelling for, you goof? But she gives a classic answer there about that she's not been there, she has gone home. It's like when someone says, hey, have you ever been with a woman? Like, yeah, I was with my mom. It's like, well, that's not what I meant. That's but look how he holds the phone. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at what appears to be like a RJ45 or 46. What do you call that? It's a phone jack on the side of the phone?
Yeah, I think that's just a regular phone jack, though. I don't know.
But it's on the side of the phone?
Sure.
And shouldn't it be plugged into something?
Well, maybe there's one on the back.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe it's a fake prop phone. Is this ashtray plugged in? I don't think it is.
It's a USB ashtray.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
I would be shocked if that phone was not actually making a call.
It would be stunning. Look at the way I don't know, the way he's holding it. I know it's because it's hearing thing, but... So anyway, Lucy connects him eventually, let's get to it, to this guy, and she explains how the hold button works. So everybody's patient with her. She's a darling. She's fun.
Yeah, so the important thing to know is that Agent Gordon Cole had not contacted the Twin Peaks Sheriff Department until the days of 25 years ago when he was dealing with Harry Truman. So he was expecting Harry, but Frank has to correct him. Harry is sick. He's no longer here. This is Frank Truman, the brother.
Yeah, the brother. Robert Forrester. And then they do a little bit of like, oh, I'm sorry, I hope he's okay, or something like that, yeah.
So the importance of this entire scene is that Agent Gordon Cole learns...
It looks like he's trying to swallow, a pubic hair. Go ahead.
Okay. Agent Gordon Cole learns from Frank Truman that they discovered the pages of the missing diary of Laura Palmer, and that it indicated or could indicate two Coopers.
Yes.
Now this, Agent Gordon Cole does not let on that he knows the significance of two Coopers. He obviously does, as we find out a little bit later in the episode, but he thanks him for the information and lets him on his way. But also says, I can't tell you anything more about what this information means, but it is helpful, and thank you.
Yeah. I mean, he's been chasing one of the Coopers, but he also knows about the other Like, does he suspect already that there's two Coopers, or that I'm talking about
When you
Agent
say
Cole.
does he?
Cole.
I believe so, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because of his interactions with Mr. C in the prison where he knew something was wrong,
Yeah.
he knows that is not the agent that he worked with for however many years.
So this is not a stunning, whoa, hey,
No,
what a crazy thing to say, you weirdo.
I would say it's more of a confirmation of pre-existing suspicions.
Yeah. Extra confidence in his suspicions of something else, yeah. All right, cool. So now they got their little setup here. I like that they have all these just lights randomly kind of screens. Is this what real FBI investigations are like?
You got to have the logos everywhere.
Yeah, you got to have logos, it's funny. So anyway, this is some backstory that I thought was pretty important. So I did take a lot of screenshots for this one. So Miguel Ferrero, Agent Albert, is explaining to new Blue Rose. Is she in the Blue Rose project?
Yes, right? She is now. They inducted her last episode.
That's right. Yeah, Tammy.
Tammy Preston.
Tammy Preston, old TP. Also stands for toilet paper.
Yes, it does. And Twin Peaks.
And Twin Peaks. Yep. Anyway, so he explains that two young field agents investigated murder in Olympia, Washington, named Loiss Duffy.
No, the agents were not named Loiss Duffy.
Both of the agents were named Loiss Duffy.
One was Lois, one was Duffy. No, one was Philip Jeffries, one was Agent.
Nope, I read it on Reddit because I wrote an article on Reddit that said that's of course.
And they were both eating Raisin Bran.
Right. The victim was Loiss Duffy. This is an interesting story, though.
Well, they were going to arrest Loiss Duffy.
Oh, okay, sure. All right, they were looking for someone named Loiss Duffy.
Yes.
How's that? All right. They hear gunshot. They go inside. They find two women. One of them has already got shot in the abdomen. The other one holds a gun, which she drops. As she backs away, when they enter, they recognize the wounded woman is Loiss Duffy. Yes, I'm just reading the things.
This is like a storybook.
Well, I got all the
Flip the page, Daddy.
Well, this is literally the dad just getting
do the
frustrated.
voices.
I don't want to do the voices of Albert anymore, son. Get to fucking sleep, okay? It's 1 a.m. Can you imagine a dad reading Twin Peaks history books to his children? Hey, that'd be called.
That's what I would do.
That'd be a good dad. You do that to other people's kids without their permission.
Like climbing through the window.
Mm-hmm. You're the David Lynch fairy.
The secret history begins with Lewis and Clark.
And now I will take a tooth, but it must be a piece of corn. Okay, Garvin Bozo. All right. So anyway, they do hear her last words, but I knew this was important, so I took all the screenshots.
Yeah, so this was actually referenced in a prior episode where they said this whole thing goes back to an original case and the words of a dying woman. And now we finally know what these words are and what the significance of it is.
Yeah. So I'm like the Blue Rose. She smiles, then dies, then disappears before their... What? So she just faded away, probably, right? Or just clicked away or something? The other woman screaming. This is the big reveal. Also Loiss Duffy. So this is probably their first encounter with a double person?
Yeah, well, this is the second reference in the episode so far to a doppelganger. The first one is saying that the Laura Palmer diary pages could indicate two Coopers, and now we're getting a story about the inception of the Blue Rose Paranormal Project.
Yeah.
That starts with a case which at its very core is about doppelgangers. And it shows that this instance of Cooper being a doppelganger is not the first time this has happened. And there is a person on Reddit who has the best Reddit name ever.
All right.
It's user/F Diane.
F Diane.
Yes.
Not a fan of Diane here.
No, it's basically giving Diane a little bit of her own medicine.
Or they are a fan of Diane. Wink.
But this particular person goes into this long drawn out theory. I don't really buy into all of it, but they're saying, what if Twin Peaks, twin itself in the name, is representative of doppelgangers, and that most of the people that we've seen throughout the series that we thought were dead were actually doppelgangers in and of themselves. They basically say, what if Laura Palmer was trapped in the lodge the entire time, and the one that washes up wrapped in plastic was actually the doppelganger? We know Major Garland Briggs, most likely the one that died in the fire 25 years ago, was probably a doppelganger, and the real Major Garland Briggs was hiding out in that house and was then killed by the woodsman, and his head escaped to the alternate dimension to say Blue Rose to Agent Dale Cooper when he was in the mauve room.
Okay.
But they also speculate that, other people could have been doppelgangers, like Leland himself. We see him in the lodge at one point in this season, which means that was he in the lodge all this time trapped there while this other entity walked around as him? Personally, I don't buy into that one because I think that takes a lot away from the tragedy of the character of Leland, saying that he didn't go through all that pain. It was never really him, that he wasn't betrayed, that he didn't have the blinds drawn away from him at the end, and he had an epiphany that caused him to take his own life. I wouldn't like that interpretation, but I think this person's got some good ideas, so I would recommend checking that person out. Diane, Reddit.
F Diane, great work. Keep typing away there, F Diane. But I mean, yeah, it's sort of a crime on the entire community if it means like, oh, it's just a big swapperoo, or all the bad people are the doppelgangers and they're causing a bunch of trouble or something. That's an oversimplification. But I do think there's something to calling it Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
I mean, the word twin is very...
There is an absolute reference throughout the entire series of the concept of duality, of light and dark, good and evil, twins, mirror images. It's everywhere.
Yeah, totally. There's also mirror images in my bathroom.
Yes.
Because I have a chrome toilet.
Yes.
So this Lois hangs herself, the one that was... this is probably the non-copy.
We know that there's something about doppelgangers, that they're not supposed to exist in the real world along with their counterparts. We learned from Mike, they said that there is basically breaking the rules of the Lodge. When he told Dougie, one of you must die, and then urges him not to die. Don't die.
Yeah.
So we know that there is a need for that to restore the natural balance of the world, and apparently in this case of Lois Duffy, something like that went on. The doppelganger found the original found the doppelganger and one off the other. Mm-hmm. And then the one who was apparently, I would assume, the doppelganger, which is a construct that is made to serve a particular purpose, disintegrated and went to the Lodge. Now, she could have gone to the Lodge simply because she was a doppelganger, or maybe she went to the Lodge because she was wearing the owl ring. Because we know when someone dies and they wear the owl ring, their body transports into the Lodge, as we saw happen to Ray.
Yeah. Have you ever seen an owl in real life?
Yes.
They're one of my top 5 favorite birds. Mm-hmm. Yeah, more of a category of birds, I'd say. All right, so the important detail here is that the two agents who were investigating this Lois Duffy scene were Gordon Cole and Philip Jeffries.
Philip Jeffries being David Bowie's character.
So we had to clarify from last week that Duncan Todd was not working for Philip Jeffries.
Oh, thanks for bringing that up.
Well, I don't know. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'd always assumed. The reason I
totally assumed it.
No, the reason I had assumed it is because in the very beginning of the season 3, there was a scene when we're first introduced to Duncan Todd, and he's talking to Roger, and Roger says, "If you don't like being told what to do by this guy, why do you do it?" And he looks at him and he says, in a very cold tone, basically, "Roger, make sure that no one like him ever gets into your life." Or something like that. And when he said him, I immediately assumed it would be Philip Jeffries, because I know Philip Jeffries has connections that transcend normal people's connections, that he can pull strings from a very vast distance, that he's got mythical power, so he is someone that should be feared. Mr. C, though, is the kind of guy that I always thought of being someone who gets his own business done, that he wouldn't need to go to a third party to hire someone else to do his dirty work, because he's already going around doing his own dirty work.
Yeah.
So I assumed that very fact alone would tell me that Mr. C was kind of not the one behind Duncan Todd. Yeah. And I do know that there was that one scene where Mr. C calls Duncan Todd and orders him to do something, but for some reason my mind had told me at that point, oh, he knows that Philip Jeffries was trying to have him killed. He knows Philip Jeffries was on the phone from the scene with Daria in the hotel, so he was calling Duncan Todd, posing as Philip Jeffries to try and change the orders, but apparently that wasn't the case.
So it's an understandable mistake. I mean, it sounds like it's something others would have gotten into.
And another mistake that I made, and I mentioned this in our last
thanks
episode.
For bringing this up.
Well, no. In the last episode I mentioned this. I don't know if it was just me. It probably was just me, but I had this crazy thing in my head where I assumed that the people who watch Game of Thrones and watch this are the same people exclusively. That's not the case. I get that now, so I apologize for any Game of Thrones spoilers I may have said.
Drop a Game of Thrones spoiler.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done it. I wasn't thinking at the time. It will not happen again, so sorry about that.
Yeah, spoiler alert, it was Tyrion in the library with a candlestick.
Mm-hmm.
Get it? Clue.
Yes.
Did you ever see that movie?
Yes.
Pennywise is in that movie. All right, here we go. Tim Curry. I know. What's the one? So this he quizzes her. I didn't know what question she was supposed to ask at all. She immediately, this is why she is an FBI agent, and I am merely a commenter on YouTube.
She also has a script.
Well, and she has a script, and it's her job. And she has tiny earrings. Look at her tiny earring. Come on, get something that dangles. Get with it. It's the 20s. I mean, the 21st century. What's the significance of the blue rose is what she wants to know. And what's the answer? Blue rose does not occur in nature, we find out. It's not natural. So she just knows all this? Like, what is this? The dying woman was not natural, conjured. What's the word? A tulpa.
I'm not quite sure what a tulpa is. I probably should have Googled it. But my interpretation of a doppelganger is that it's a construct. It's something that's made almost through alchemical means. Like we saw Dougie Jones turned into a little sphere of bronze almost. Mm-hmm. We saw what was representative of almost as Philip Jeffries turned into like a little ball of silver or something.
Yeah.
So it's, we have a general idea of what a doppelganger is and how they're made.
We should ask my girlfriend. Let's ask my girlfriend here real quick. Yeah, hey Siri, hey, Twin Peaks, what's the name, what's a tulpa?
Here's what I found on the web for YY on Twin Peaks. What's the name? What's a top?
She didn't get it.
You not know how to use Siri by now?
What's a tulpa?
All right, here's what I got.
The talpa is the genus in the mole family Talpidae, but Talpa. All right, damn it. Fucking Siri. You know what, Siri? I've had enough of your shit. I'm done with you. We're over. It's through. You can pick up your toothbrush tomorrow. Albert?
I hope you don't kiss your mother with that mouth.
Oh, sassy. Pre-programmed answers. You're not actually artificial intelligence. I am superior to you, Siri. Okay, so I don't know what tulpa is. We can look it up. All right, good. All right, so someone says that. Then this guy comes in. Agent Deputy Director David Cole.
David Cole? Gordon Cole.
But then suddenly this really weird moment happens where this windshield wiper guy comes by and his movements are super jerky and strange. Like, have you ever seen these dudes? They're usually pretty smooth and fluid.
Yeah, you want to be,
They kind of have a set pattern that they do for every single window pane.
This was bizarre for the sake of being bizarre. I mean, obviously the sound messes with his hearing. We know he has a hearing aid at this point. We can assume that maybe he doesn't have a hearing problem, that maybe he wears it in order to hear transmissions that other people might not hear.
That's the face he makes while he sleeps.
Yeah. So,
but it just blows out his hearing aid device thing, and but they really went at it. And they kept showing this thing moving around, or this person, I guess, and then he just moved on. You think that's anything kind of nefarious with that? Like that's like a
like
visitor
that's a woodsman.
Like that's like the windshield washerman, woodsman version. I don't know. Maybe they know they're closing in on some sort of resolution, so that the woodsmen are starting to gather. Maybe it's like because these guys could be, oftentimes FBI agents pose as windshield washer dudes in order to spy in on the villain. That happens in movies all the time. Yeah. Hey, you never know.
I saw it as more like a quirky moment.
That's how I saw it too.
I didn't see any true meaning behind it, so I'd be interested if anyone else could say that they saw some meaning behind it, because I'm open to hearing any theories.
Any theories at all, except mine. James hates my theories. It really upsets me. It really upsets me. All right, so... okay, the door opens. They're waiting for Diane. So Diane comes in, and I like Diane. First of all, Laura Dern's great. She's awesome. But Diane is also kind of a badass. All she does is smoke and drink and swear. She's kind of like me.
Right. So here's what we know about Diane, is that the last time Albert spoke to Cole about Diane, he was informing Cole that they had been intercepting text messages between her and an unknown party.
All right.
And that those text messages said something along the lines of, "They haven't asked me yet."
Right.
So they were trying to figure out together, what is it that they have not asked her about yet? And it seems as though what they came up with was that one night, the last time she saw Agent Dale Cooper, who we presume was Mr. C at the time, who it had to be, because if he emerged from the lodge, that was Mr. C, that was Bobble Coop, whatever.
Yep.
So that was not Agent Dale Cooper. You ruined me! Agent Dale Cooper.
Okay.
So they're going to pry into that, even though they know that she is not comfortable or willing to talk about it.
Okay, all right. But the one detail they're most interested in is if he mentioned Major Garland Briggs.
Right, and Major Garland Briggs is foremost in their mind for a couple of reasons. One of which being that they received word that his fingerprints showed up in the registry, and the fingerprints were not residual fingerprints from 25 years ago. They were actual physical fingerprints from a body which had not aged since the disappearance in the fire 25 years ago of Major Garland Briggs.
All right.
So they're trying to figure out what's going on with that. Was that potentially a doppelganger that died 25 years ago? Is this the real one? Has he been in stasis somewhere? Has he been in the zone? Has he been in hiding? It's bizarre. But what did they find in his stomach?
A golden ring.
Yes.
One ring to swallow them all, right?
Right. Which said, "With love, to Dougie from Janie E."
Yes, right. And they're referring to the body they found.
Yes,
here,
of
right?
Major Garland Briggs.
Yeah, of Major Garland Briggs. Right, so here we'll get to that. This is the part where I like that he holds it up, but he's not showing it, and he just flips it over.
Yeah.
So there's the golden ring, called a wedding ring, a wedding band with someone named Janie E. and Dougie, and then she kind of has a reaction like, "Oh, that's weird. My sister's name is Jane."
This
and she's
blows the lid off everything.
Oh, it does. Okay, so let's get through this little bit, then you can explain it. So actually, it's her half sister. She's married to a man named Douglas Jones. And she doesn't seem to really care for these two people very much, or at least not for her sister, but everybody calls him Dougie, and her nickname's Janie E. Do we have any explanation for where the E came from?
Well, she's in this episode, she says Janie E was the nickname.
I know, the E. Where did the E? Is the E stand for electric Boogaloo or something?
Probably.
Yeah.
I is a nickname for a reason.
Well, I want some backstory.
Maybe because Janie seems like you have to say the word E to end, so then it's like Janie E.
Janie E.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Call me Hanky E.
Gotta be kinky.
Kinky Hanky E. Okay. Okay. So she's now they're Vegas. This means this is the Dougie and the Janie E that we know. Can't be a lot of Janie E's married to Dougies that live in Vegas.
So not only has the FBI connected everything to Twin Peaks at this moment, but the FBI has now been connected directly to the trail of Dougie Jones. Things are heating up.
Okay, so explain the significance then. You said this blows the lid off of it. Is this the right time to explain that?
Well, I mean, this is the significance. Diane is the direct link to Janie E., who's the link to Dougie Jones, who's the link to this whole mystery, to Agent Dale Cooper. So she has been the catalyst that connects the FBI to Dougie. This is what we've been waiting for. And is it a coincidence? I don't think it could be a coincidence.
And so finding this out for Cole and Albert and Tammy to find this out means they're going to turn their attention to Vegas, and maybe we're going to see Agent Cole interact with Dougie somehow.
Because at this point, they just know a name, Douglas Jones. They have no idea that Douglas Jones is Dale Cooper.
Right. They don't know that right now. So they're going to show up and be like, hey, holy shit, that's him.
Yes.
That's Cooper. And then Cooper's going to go, Cooper.
Yeah.
And then and they're going to feed him pie or something.
Well, that was a great theory from the last video that someone pointed out, is that the pies that were in that Sizemore, I can't say the name correctly, Sizemore, whatever.
That weird
the pies that were there, because of the conversation that Norma had with Walter in the Double R Diner, he said that they were basically selling the pies around town, and that people always said that the pies at Norma's Diner were better than the knockoffs, really, because the ones in the Norma's diner or whatever were always made with local organic ingredients.
Oh yeah.
And the ones that were made outside of there were you basically taking shortcuts with cheaper ingredients. Mm-hmm. And it's presumed that the pies that Agent Dale Cooper is eating are the knockoff pies. That's why it's not waking him up. It's not until that they get him back to Twin Peaks and he has some real Twin Peaks coffee and some real Norma pie that he's going to have his awakening.
Every man wakes up when they have a good piece of pie.
Right. So the other thing about this is that...
Well, maybe they can bring a piece of pie, too. They can go to Norma.
I suppose they could.
I mean, not that the FBI would.
It would be a crime not to bring Cooper back to Twin Peaks, though.
Oh, yeah. In the series, he'll definitely show. He's got to come back there. Yeah, for sure.
But what does this not answer?
Oh, man. Whenever James asks me a question, I feel like I'm taking the SATs here. This does not answer why the woodsmen are hanging out at that gas station. Was that good? Or why that frog bug crawled into that girl?
I'm glad you mentioned that, but no, it does not answer the mystery as to who she's been texting.
Oh, yeah.
Because we know it's not Janie E., even though one of the messages said Las Vegas, because she just admitted that she's estranged between Janie E. Or she could be lying. Maybe it is Janie E.
Okay. Yeah.
Diane has been less than forthcoming with stuff up to now.
Interesting theory.
And she always sees things backwards, so maybe the backwards truth is a lie. Ooh.
Whoa, the opposite of a truth is a lie.
Yeah.
A song of ice and fire.
Yes.
All right.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Spoilers, there's fire. No, there's also ice.
There's fire where they're going.
A song of wind and stillness.
Yes.
What's the opposite of wind? No wind.
Yeah,
right? Space. Okay. All right, I haven't talked to her in years. So anyway, all of a sudden these guys come in. This is the FBI office here. And
Not just any FBI office.
The Vegas FBI.
Yes.
I like that they're kind of nervous, though. And he's like, oh, sir, I got Director Gordon Cole. He's like, oh, boy. And this guy's like, oh, no, really? Oh,
Kind of shows that he's a big shot.
He's a big deputy director, unless there's like multiple deputy directors, but that must mean, is he the only one? Is that like the number 2 guy in the below the director? That's a big role.
Pretty good big ranking in the FBI.
Yeah, high-ranking FBI guy. Out there running off, doing his theories, looking at pictures of Mount Rushmore.
Everyone uses Apple computers, by the way.
Yeah, well, of course they use Apple computers. These people are not losers. Now, is this Dwight Eisenhower? Who's on that? Is it? That's hard to tell. But look, Randall Headley. Does that sound familiar to you at all?
No.
Okay.
Not
they also
really.
have big stamps and stuff. Okay, but he's like, oh God, all right. So he immediately gets on the phone with him, and of course he blows out this guy's hearing because he yells into the phone. But I like that Agent Cole doesn't even hesitate to like no niceties. He's just all business, straight up, handing out an order. I want as if he'd been giving orders to this guy forever.
And you made a great point on this that I didn't notice originally.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yes, I did. I mean, of course I did.
And you'll say it at the end of the scene.
All right. Well, let me point something out first. Is that an owl? Looks very owlish.
It does kind of.
Yeah, look. That's got to be an owl. Do we have a better shot of that?
Probably not.
I can zoom in on it if I go into Photoshop.
I don't think it's that.
That's a waste of time. Pause. Maybe I'll just edit this in here. Oh, motherfucker. How the hell do I zoom in, James? I'm an expert at Photoshop. I'm really good at this. There it goes. Look.
Yeah, that's
That's
not what owls say. But that does look extremely owl-like.
That's right. Owls say cheep, 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 cheep. Oh, shit. All right. Okay, let's get back to it. I don't know. It's very owl-like. Okay.
It's not what it seems.
How dare you? Look, there's an owl behind him, too. That's an eagle. Okay, James. Eagles are the most patriotic bird.
That was a famous line by the log lady. The owls are not what they seem.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I knew that. I was just.
But I think it was I think it was also written in the transmission from the Blue Pines listening station from Major Garland Briggs. The owls are not what they seem. Cooper, 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 Cooper. But whatever.
Wow.
Moving on.
Wow, crazy. But anyway, so he goes, Douglas Jones, Mr. and Mrs. Douglas Jones in Las Vegas, and then he's like, get on it, put it in the shotgun seat, get back to me. Now, this is not good FBI work, Agent Cole. You should have said his wife's name is Jane and her nickname is Janie E.
Yes.
You don't leave out that information.
And that speaks to the next couple lines from the...
Yeah, what the fuck? There's 23 Douglas Jones. You could have narrowed that down to 1 or 2, maybe. That's crazy. Why would he not said something?
Yeah, and then his boss just goes completely psycho on him.
Yeah, and even with some weird music, like he just starts screaming out, how many times have I told you? It's just intense music comes up and he just yells at him.
It's almost comical. It's just so unexpected.
I think this is one of those, like, every character has to be a little bit quirky things or something. But yeah, that was weird. So eventually these guys are going to find the Dougie Jones. Maybe they'll show some scenes and like talking to other dudes that are just other Vegas guys named Douglas. So anyway, they're real happy about that. This is a big find here for them.
Yep.
All right. Anything else to add?
Well, he starts
about this part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he says that he phoned Twin Peaks, learned about Laura Palmer's diary, which played into the whole twin Cooper theory.
Yeah.
And that he also had a disturbing dream. And this is where things get ultra bizarre.
Okay, James, real quick. I forgot who Monica Bellucci is. Is that Jim Belushi's wife?
I honestly don't know if they're married, but I know that she's an actress, right? I mean, she's Monica Bellucci as Monica Bellucci in here.
But Belushi's spelled differently, by the way. Jim
Belushi
Belushi's with a S-H-I.
Okay, I did not.
Yeah.
These are things I do not know.
It's short for beluga whale.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it's also short for much more talented brother who died.
Yes.
All right, go ahead. Who is Monica Bellucci?
Monica Bellucci is Monica Bellucci.
Oh, that explains it. All right, okay.
It'd be no different if it said, and then I met Bill Clinton, and then he walked in. It's a real person.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I just got yelled at by a dad in a different language. All right. I'm just so confused. So anyway, we go to black and white. Now we have kind of a vignette.
Okay. And we can see exactly the name of the place.
Mm-hmm.
Which is going to be important.
Crepier Plougastel, which stands for plow crepes. So it looks like he's on like a French street. He's got those funny old, those kooky European license plates. Hey, Europe. License plates are supposed to be a little bit more rectangular than these long rectangles, you idiots.
Yeah, so basically he meets Monica Bellucci at a cafe in Paris, a certain cafe. Agent Dale Cooper was there, but he couldn't see his face.
Right there, yeah.
And she said some ancient words to him. And those ancient words were...
Wait, she brought friends and she sat down? Hold on, we're getting to it. I think we got the screenshot. Look, she's got a tear going down her eye.
She does. I noticed that as well.
Her cheek, I mean. And then she said the ancient phrase, here you are, James.
We're like the dreamer who dreams and then lives inside the dream.
What does that mean?
Exactly. But then she further says, but who is the dreamer?
Yeah. Now who is the dreamer?
And then she motions him to look behind himself, in which case he hears or sees a younger version of himself, hearing Agent Dale Cooper talk to him about a dream.
How did he get better hair as he got older? He's still got nice hair there, but he got much better hair when he's older. Maybe just got a cooler stylist.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So he saw himself listening to Cooper on February 16th. So now this is what he sees behind him in his dream.
Yes.
And that makes sense because dreams are always nuts. Although I did dream the other day that I got a parking ticket. Yeah. That was my fucking dream. I woke up.
I can make your dreams come true.
Yeah, I know.
Just loan me your car for 5 minutes.
So can I. that was my dream. It's my brain goes to get I just woke up angry and upset because I'm poor. Because of the dream I told you about. All right, so keep going. I'm getting distracted.
Okay, Philip Jeffries walks in, and this scene is actually kind of important. And kind of is an understatement.
Well, and now it's David Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And they're all like, whoa, Philip, is that you? Hey, is that Agent Miguel Ferrero?
Albert?
Yeah. I can't tell.
Keep going.
Oh, we'll find out. Yeah, it looks like him. I think it is. All right, so you take over. I've messed up this whole explanation here.
There is something very interesting that I noticed only after the episode was over, and I had to Google it to find out what was going on.
Okay.
And I don't know the meaning behind this, but in the credits, there's a person who is credited as voice. Okay. And when you look up the person who's credited as voice, it is the person dubbing over the lines of Philip Jeffries, redoing the voice of David Bowie, when the audio for him was perfectly clear, perfectly fine. And someone actually reached out on Twitter to ask the actor why they did that. And he only simply responded with something cryptic like, there is good reason for it, but I leave it to the master.
Okay.
So maybe there's something weird going on there. I don't know if it was a rights issue where they couldn't, maybe the estate of David Bowie wouldn't let him reuse the voice.
Yeah.
Maybe it's done in such a way that they can reverse it and they can find something hidden in the audio later on that's going to be a clue. I don't know. It's very interesting though.
That is interesting. And well, the fact that it's a dream recollection allows for it to be wrong or different.
Right, because no memory of recollection is perfect.
Right, and changes all the time. And dreams especially are difficult to recollect, except for that fucking parking ticket. Which I paid. I sent the city of Los Angeles $75.
Yes.
Just to be safe. Now it's really so
because in the recollection, what happens is that Agent Dale Cooper is pointed at by Jeffries, and he says, "Do you know who that, or who do you think that is there?" And this kind of plays with the timeline, though, because we know at the time Agent Dale Cooper was Agent Dale Cooper. He was not a doppelganger. He had not entered the lodge yet and reemerged as a doppelganger. No, well,
right.
he didn't reemerge, but you know what I mean.
Right, of course.
So this is playing fast and loose with the time stream because you know Philip Jeffries himself has been catapulting backward and forward in time. So it's almost as though he went forward in time, foresaw the events of the present, then got catapulted back and assumed that the Agent Dale Cooper that he was seeing was a doppelganger. So he was warning us back then, even now back then, or whatever.
Yes, I agree. I have no idea what you just said, but I totally agree.
Another super cool thing that I saw on Reddit was that when he looked behind himself,
okay, right up back
he
here.
saw himself. And someone found this exact cafe on Google Street View. They looked it up. They found the exact position where Gordon Cole was sitting, and they looked to see what they would see if they looked behind themselves, and it was what appears to be a David Lynch art gallery.
Yeah. So they filmed that scene next at a cafe that's next door to a David Lynch art gallery.
It looks like an art gallery. It basically, on the door, it says David Lynch Plume of Desire. Mm-hmm. So and it looks like there's artwork hanging in up there. So I don't know if that's
Is he
just
known for owning art galleries and stuff?
I'm not quite sure. I'm not a super expert on David Lynch. I appreciate and I enjoy his work immensely, but I'm the last person to know the facts behind
that's what rich kooks like to do. They like to open art galleries.
Yeah,
that's
so it could be his production office.
I'd love to have an art gallery.
It could be an art gallery. I don't know.
You put little a bunch of shredded paper on a pedestal, and you have people come in and they wear nice dresses and they walk around in their high heels, and then you get to talk to women that work out and stuff.
So the person who noticed this has the name on good old Reddit of user Charmonboz, Charmonboz, and also theorized that when he looked behind himself, he saw his own business. So therefore, it's implying that the dreamer is David Lynch himself. And that this is all a manifestation of the dream of David Lynch. I'm not talking Gordon Cole, I mean David Lynch as the man, which would be going kind of, breaking the fourth wall. Would he do that? Maybe he would.
Well, sure. I mean, that you can add significance to that coincidence if you want. I mean, he probably owns this art gallery, and there's a nice little restaurant or cafe next door that he probably frequents quite often, and I imagine he spends his afternoons hanging out front or something. And it just out of convenience, filmed a scene there because the location worked for him, and it happened to be next to his art gallery. I think it could be as simple as that. And it just happens to work. That you go, oh well, therefore it means he's looking backwards at the thing, and he is conjuring this whole image. It kind of comes out of his head. Yeah. Now, what about Mark Frost? Doesn't Mark Frost have an art gallery? Doesn't he deserve a little love too? Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
great point, Hank.
it's a cool little Easter egg this guy found.
Yeah,
It's interesting,
agreed.
but I agree with you. I don't think it means as much as people are trying to assign to it meaning.
It's a very cool Easter egg. I just think it was a location thing out of convenience, but yeah, all right. I mean, that's one thing about the show is that so much of the vagary is up to interpretation, and that gives people lots of license to come up with different theories and then test them out via the court of public internet. Right? All right, so what is it to think about? Do you have anything else to add about this whole, why did you even tell them about this dream?
No, I think this actually brings up more questions than answers for me. Like, why did they redo the voice of David Bowie, of Philip Jeffries? Why did he see himself looking backwards? I mean, it almost reiterates information that we assumed originally, that David Bowie was... actually, one thing I would ask people in the comments is, did David Bowie say that line in Fire Walk With Me? Did he say, do you know who that is there, or something like that? And if he didn't, maybe that's why they had to re-record the voice. But I seem to remember that I think he did.
Yeah, could be. I just noticed something weird. So look at his chest, right? Just a man's chest. He's thin. And then in this shot, he's got a cross necklace.
Okay, go back.
On this one, he doesn't. But it
could just be concealed. But maybe it swung a little bit of that screenshot.
When you see the chain right there, wouldn't there be chain crossing over?
I mean, it wouldn't be bizarre for this character who phases in and out of existence between Buenos Aires and the FBI headquarters. So of all the characters to have a weird inconsistency, maybe a weird continuity error, you could always explain it away with him being Philip Jeffries.
Yes, I'm David Bowie. I took off my cross necklace during in the bathroom while I was having sex with the attendant. I just assume David Bowie has sex with everybody he meets. Look at him. How could he not? I don't know. That's interesting, at least. I mean, it's hard to tell in the shot, because there very well could be a chain across here, and just the necklace has been moved over a little bit.
And is on the wall right there, is that the same figure as behind the desk?
The one that looked like Eisenhower?
Einstein. Yeah.
Eisenstein? That's this one right here.
Just basically flipped.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's Edgar Hoover, or J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah, it could be. Or it could be Harry Truman.
Or Harry S. Truman.
I don't know.
That's an Einstein-looking, Jesus Christ. Eisenhower-looking guy. Yeah. You ever see Eisenhower's grandson? He looks exactly like him. No. It looks like Eisenhower. Because he'll do interviews every once in a while on documentaries and stuff. And you're like, whoa, he's alive? It's weird. It's really weird.
That is kind of cool.
I wish I looked like my grandpa. He looks like Tinky Winky. All right, so next scene here, we're back at Twin Peaks in Washington State at the Sheriff's Department, and Andy and Hawk, I know their names. He's setting up stuff. I'm not sure what's in these boxes, but he lines them up. Then old Bobby Briggs comes in with lunch. Best part of the day. Part of the day is lunch.
I'm assuming those are like lunchboxes, and you can see this is to go from the RR, which is kind of a nice little touch. Everyone gets
What made you assume these are lunchboxes?
Because of what happens later on in the scene.
They're holding lunch in their boxes.
Well, because they're about to. They were essentially going to go and follow the lead that was given to them by Major Garland Briggs through the proxy of his son, through that cryptic riddle given to them by the log lady.
I know. Yeah.
From the episode called The Chair, the little.
No, I remember all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the lunchbox thing. Yeah.
But we know that they were going to make an expedition to go out and do this.
Oh, you're saying they had to eat before they went on their hike?
No, they're going to bring the food with them. That's the nature of going out into the woods. You prepare supplies.
Okay, all right. But when you said, I assume this is a lunchbox, I was like, yeah, what else could it be? Of course that's what it is.
No, these are lunchboxes.
Oh, these! I thought you meant this stuff. Okay, that's why I'm confused. Yeah, these do look like lunchboxes. And they have the Twin Peaks logo on each one. So yeah, maybe they're going to set them all, or you put a sandwich in there, and then it becomes a lunchbox. If you put a gun in it, it's a gun box.
Yes.
Whatever you put inside it becomes that box. Dale, right? Chad comes in, fresh off tucking in his shirt into his huge belt. My God, look at that thing. He's got two big belts. That's because they all have gear and stuff. They're cops and stuff. And then Hawk goes into action. I thought it was great to see Hawk pull out a gun. Check that, Chad. And then, immediately arrest him. And he cooperates. He doesn't put up a fight, but he starts screaming a little bit. And I like how Andy moved in too. Andy got all into it with his big belly. This guy really leads with the belly there.
I really like that they just went all out and did this. They didn't show them making the connection of Lucy informing Sheriff Truman about his interference picking up the mail. They didn't show any sort of lead where they would be suspicious of him working with Richard Horne to run drugs through the double R, through the
Mustang Casino,
the Roadhouse Casino.
Roadhouse
Mustang
Bar. Roadhouse bar.
You say casino, you made me say casino. How dare you?
I meant
Do
to
the
say
Roadhouse.
The Silver because didn't he do a deal with the guy at the Silver Mustang Casino? There was a moment where
he was running drugs everywhere.
yeah. Okay,
But I don't know why. I don't know why he would be in Las Vegas though. That would be a little bit of a stretch.
That would be a big stretch.
The only time I personally remember him was when he was interacting with Richard Horn in the Bang Bang bar, the Roadhouse.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I know. I withdraw all my contributions should be taken with a truckload of salt.
Yeah. So what this tells us is that they were not ignorant of all these facts happening, although we assume they were. They were aware of it. They were watching him for months, and they finally pounced on him. So they're not incompetent. They're good cops.
Is this related to Lucy spotting him going through the mail, you think? Remember that?
Well, yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, you said that. Yeah, I wasn't listening. Yeah. All right. I like that they didn't even say anything. They just get back to getting lunch. It's like, there's your roast beef and cheese. There you go. Oh, yeah, one of the sandwiches is just cheese.
Yes,
which is
for Andy.
Which is insane. That's as crazy as eating just a cheese pizza.
Cheese sandwiches are great.
Ugh.
You take some bread, some mayo, slice of cheese, more mayo, another slice of cheese.
Yeah, they're great if you just survived a fucking nuclear bomb.
Oh, I love cheese sandwiches.
That's war food, James. No, you put meat in there. Even if it's...
I mean, you can, but you don't have to.
Even if it's the charred flesh of your enemies.
Do you not like grilled cheese?
I love grilled cheese.
As I say, just heat it up. That's a grilled cheese.
Yeah, I know. I'll eat anything. I'm gross. I just think it's lame. All right, I'll eat cheese pizza too. I like everything. I'm kind of it's terrible.
Why are you turning sandwiches into pizza?
Because people who order cheese pizza are boring.
My favorite foods are cheese pizza and vanilla ice cream. I'm living life on the edge.
Jesus, what's your is your favorite material cardboard? Is your favorite car Toyota something ordinary?
Yes, the Toyota something.
Toyota something?
The 2007 Toyota something.
That's really something. All right, I'm being dumb and annoying. So wind whooshing. Okay, we got a cool outside shot. The car parks. It looks like a Ford Explorer. Yeah. They get out and they gear up. I don't see any lunchboxes, but they all have backpacks. I did like that they all put on matching backpacks.
It should say emergency dial 555.
555. Yeah, that's really funny. 142. Uh-oh, numbers. What does that mean? So anyway,
so as we recall the last time, that little capsule that they got from the chair from Major Garland Briggs's wife at the house contained a lot of information. It contained the word Jack Rabbit's Palace, which Bobby Briggs was able to identify for us as being a place that his father would take him to and frequent when he was a boy up near the listening post.
Correct.
And then it gave directions on where to proceed from that point in order to find something of significance.
Right.
So they are heading out there now to see what Major Garland Briggs was trying to show them.
Yes, and it's a cool woods. I like all the moss. I like the trunks and the stumps and the living trees, the dead ones. They're stepping over stuff. I think this is tough work for old Robert Forrester, huh? Andy, these guys aren't young men.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I get tired
Except
walking.
well, actually, Bobby is the youngest of them, but he is clearly not super young.
Not super young. Yeah, he's in good shape, though. He looks like he's in pretty good shape. Hawk seems like he's in okay shape, too, but he's an older guy. I bet this was a tougher day for them as opposed to just sitting around talking about chocolate bunnies and eating donuts and stuff.
Is it about the bunnies?
I hope so. Better be. Our bunnies are empty. Whoa. So now they're on a path, which looks important. This used to be the road where we were walking. So Bobby's just recollecting how he got here.
Yeah, in this shot, someone on Reddit also called this out, and I thought it was really interesting.
Okay.
In that it's very reminiscent of the yellow brick road of The Wizard of Oz, in which case Andy is standing in the same position as the Scarecrow, and the Scarecrow was the lovable doofus without a brain.
All right. So who's the Tin Man? Hawk?
Tin Man would be Hawk. Dorothy would be Bobby. And the Cowardly Lion would be Frank. None of which makes any sense except for Andy.
Where's the flying monkey? Where's the witch?
Yes.
Come on. This guy's on a pathway. This has nothing to do with Wizard of Oz.
No, the person
That's nonsense.
The person who wrote that pointed out that David Lynch was a big fan of The Wizard of Oz and that the shot was probably not a mistake because of what it led to later on with Andy.
Okay, fair enough. If it leads to something, I can be, I'm more.
I admit it's kind of a stretch.
Putting the camera in the middle of a pathway and having your actors walk towards the camera. Come on. Film School 101.
With any other director, I would agree with you. But
True.
With Lynch, it seems like everything is intentional.
That's a fair point. I concede that. Yeah.
I would call it absolute bullcrap if it wasn't Lynch.
Yeah, I'm just being kind of a contrarian. No, it's an interesting thought. I imagine there's something to it. I bet if you asked David Lynch, he'd just go, "Figure it out yourself,
well,
Albert."
That's the thing. He maintains this mystique by never giving the definitive answer as to what his intent was behind something. If he did that, he would destroy his own mystique.
Yeah, he
can't tell you.
Yeah.
maybe he has a perfect idea of what everything's supposed to mean. Maybe he doesn't. We have to
If
accept
I were
that we'll
betting,
never know.
I would come down on the side that he doesn't really have much of an idea.
Then that's his genius
Which
for getting
might
away
be-
with it.
That might be anathema for me to say, but that's what I... but it's smart, yeah. Leave it vague, and then suddenly you can watch. 2,000 years from now, this is going to be the religion.
I'm already
They're gonna be like,
practicing.
remember those ancient Christians? Well, now we're all Lynchians. Everybody, it's gonna get really fucked up. Oh, okay. So, what did your father do up here, Bobby? He's like, I don't know, but he told me not to. He said something about not coming here or something. But then he's having these real nostalgic feelings. It looks like.
Yeah, he says basically never come up here without me, but he says that a little bit later.
Yeah. I thought that was before right there. Whatever, who cares?
So this is the old listening station, which is where Major Garland Briggs originally, we assume the doppelganger, was killed in a fire by Mr. C when the whole station burned down. And Bobby was recollecting his time there, saying all I remember is it was filled with machines and so forth. But this
Wait a
is a
minute,
place...
You're jumping ahead.
No, he already said that.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so... But he sees this big old tree stump,
Yes.
which he
and this is a
remembers.
place his father would take him often, and they'd tell tall tales to each other at this place, which he called Jack Rabbit's Palace.
Right. And it is very palatial. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see some jackrabbits having some ruling from their kingdom right here. That looks nice. So, yeah, there they go. The camera kind of pushes in and tilts up a little bit. Unfortunate posture there for him, but
Why is that unfortunate?
he just looks funny. He's got his back arched
Well,
a little bit.
he's reminiscing of his childhood and his father and good times.
Oh yeah, when I do reminisce, I just somehow suck in my stomach and I arch my back and I grab my belt buckle.
Well, he's not in a very comfortable standings position, he's...
I know. I'm not making fun of him. I'm saying the screenshot just happened to catch him in a weird moment. He's probably just shifting his belt around.
I need to apologize to Bobby.
Yeah, he's fine. Look there. Now he looks totally normal. See? Yeah, he's just... I wish I was thin enough to put my thumbs in my front part of my belt buckle.
All right, so this is the starting point in the directions that were given by Garland Briggs. They have to then go 253 yards due east, but first they must put some soil in their pockets.
Right. So they do that. They all do that. So now they're following this little weird journey here,
And what that could mean,
This
I'm
was a
not
cool
quite sure.
shot. I just like that they did this. I don't know if this is on a drone or a cable or something. However they filmed it, but they moved probably on a dolly. I don't know. Why am I trying to use words? So I just like that they flew through the woods a little bit with this.
The question I would have to ask everyone in the comments though is, why do you think they had to put soil in the pockets? What is that? It was the Jack Rabbit's Palace a sacred place?
To prove that they were at the Jackrabbit's Palace or
Maybe,
something?
I mean, was it like a sacred, protected place or something? And that is it related to some sort of like Indian mythology or something I'm not aware of?
Something specific to the palace, probably.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
please
Who
let
knows?
us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. What's the definitive answer? So off they go. They've got... I just like that they all have the same backpack on. It's just funny to me.
Well, of course, they're the sheriffs.
Yeah, I know. It's just... how many logos are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so some birds are going, caw, caw, caw. James, quit getting texts. Quit being cool, okay?
James has always been cool.
You are very cool. And
had to say
some
that.
trees and some sunlight and stuff. And so they're looking for wherever they're going. And they come across this smoke billow, this little patch where something's going on here. We don't really know what's up. Electricity seems to crackle wherever they wander. What's in his hand there? Is that like a GPS thing or something probably? Maybe that's how they're getting around. Or...
I would guess a compass.
Compass is called a modern GPS, James. Get used to it. We're all going to be fucked during the apocalypse because no one's going to know how to do anything. And then they come across what looks to be a human shape laying in the ground. And
No, did you see that at this point? Did you
From here I
notice?
did, yeah.
Okay.
I saw this part. Well, it looks like a butt.
You
see
never
the
miss a
shoulder.
butt.
No, you don't miss butts. Well, plus a naked woman laying in the woods kind of stands out.
That kind of does, yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't know it's a woman at that point unless you're like so
Well,
well versed on butts.
I watch a lot of porn, but it is a thin man or a woman. So they get closer, and yeah, no, I mean, I was thinking woman at that point. And they're like, uh-oh, naked woman, not a good sign. I mean, occasionally it's a good sign, but not in this situation here. But there's also this strange, like, little container, bowl, depression of some kind that's filled with something. And they come up to this person, they see, and they flip her over. And, of course, I blocked it out there because I don't want anybody to have any sinful thoughts. And it turns out she's alive, and she starts making weird noises. So
We have seen her before.
yes, it took me a while to place her. She was in that
People have come to call it the mauve room.
the mauve room.
Right. She was the one on the couch that
Okay.
basically prevented Dale Cooper from approaching the electrical outlet when it wasn't yet time.
All
Basically.
right. And she jumped off the top of it.
She
Climbed
led
up
him
the thing.
upstairs, up the ladder. She turned the electricity on with that bell contraption that we've seen a couple of times, and it flung her into space, and she disappeared forever until now.
Yeah.
And someone on Reddit made another good point. They're saying, is this an homage to David Bowie, the man who fell to Earth?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Could be.
100%.
Nice.
Absolutely.
I mean, could be a little Easter egg, whatever. It had to put it out there because I thought it was
No,
interesting
I
when
like
I
that
read
you
it.
put it out there. It's fine.
But there's some things I did not read on Reddit, finally.
Let me just point this out. How fucking creepy this is, though. The
Yeah.
eyes covered over, and are those like gashes or cuts or unhealed wounds or something?
I don't know, but this character
really disturbing.
was referred to originally as Naido, Nado, in the credits, both in her first appearance and in this appearance.
Is that a Japanese name?
I'm not sure. I would assume possibly.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But notice what Andy is doing right now.
Holding her hand.
Right.
And he should be giving her mouth to mouth. No.
She is alive.
Oh yeah, she's alive. She's breathing. I mean, they should be calling the police. They are the police. All right, so they're. I mean, she needs medical help. I mean, this is an emergency. Anybody with a face like this needs a fucking doctor.
Yeah,
right?
but no, it's almost like they're in a trance. They're not noticing that something significantly strange is happening here. And what do you think the significance of this particular location is?
I don't know.
Okay, for me,
no idea.
What I was thinking about this is that we know that Major Garland Briggs seems to be the one character from the original series who has some sort of connection to the White Lodge. He said some great lines. I didn't have time to look for the lines myself, but I remember him saying something like, the Lodge responds to hatred or love, responds to pure emotions.
Okay.
And that it opens for those who exhibit that. And I think at one point Hawk even said of the mythology of the Lodge, and it may not have been Hawk, maybe someone else, but it said that if you approach the Lodge with imperfect courage, you'll be utterly destroyed.
Okay.
And we know Major Garland Briggs led them here with his cryptic riddle thing.
Yeah.
And we know that Major Garland Briggs, like I reiterated before, has a connection to the White Lodge. He was actually taken there himself.
Right.
Because he disappeared during a camping trip. But you also notice that pool of
Right here.
Yes. Which seems to be what color?
Well, I'd say gold. Gold. It looks
Goldish
golden.
whitish, like sort of like an off-white, right?
No, I'd say gold.
Okay, I would say white, but
You'd say white.
absolutely, I would say white.
There's a sheen to it.
It's like an eggshell cream off-white.
That's a
white.
reflect. That's a sheen. That's a glare. That's not white. It's gold.
I don't see gold, but
What do you think this is? Raisin Bran or Cheetos or whatever the hell we?
yeah,
You don't see gold? The dress is blue, James.
No, I
the
don't
dress
really
is
see-
blue.
I see what looks like off-white eggshell,
Wow. Do you want me to help you get to the doctor and do the
so they can do a head scan on you too.
No, yeah, well, I totally need medical help. I'm a fucking mess. But
It doesn't look gold to me. I mean,
Are your eyes okay? I mean,
are yours okay?
Yeah, I have great eyes. My near side vision is perfect.
Yeah, I have 20/20 with my contacts in.
All right. Okay, let us know in the comments, everybody. Gold or white?
Well, off-white, eggshell white.
Gold or slightly white?
Anyway, what I'm getting at
fair enough.
is that what is right next to the portal with the sycamore trees into the lodge? It's a similar pool of black burnt motor oil type thing. People always say they smell the aroma of burnt motor oil.
Okay.
This seems to be the opposing opposite of that. Black versus white, good versus evil.
Okay, yeah, all right. No, but yes.
Yeah, but so it would serve
Not
a
white,
reason
but
that
yeah.
if Major Garland Briggs led them there, this could potentially be the opposing entrance to the White Lodge as opposed to the entry to the other lodge.
Okay, maybe they got to dive in.
Yeah, and it's a secret location that only Briggs was aware
So,
of.
so did Briggs give them this secret code 25 years ahead of time, right? Because he wrote the note 25 years ago? Or
Yes.
no? Was the point of that note to get them to this entrance, if that's what it is?
It would appear so.
Or was it to find this woman who needed to be saved by somebody because she was going to be helpless? Like, she hasn't been laying around for 25 years waiting to get discovered.
No, I wouldn't think
She
so.
appeared around this date and probably wouldn't have lasted much longer in the woods, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think it's fair.
So their arrival means that she's going to make it. They're going to help her. So maybe, I mean, what was the I mean, it seems to me like that would be the primary reason he wanted them to be at this location on this date at this time, because he knew someone was going to need their help.
Yeah. You know what that also kind of looks like to me now that you've paused on it for a while?
Yeah. What?
It looks like the Rancho Rosa logo.
What? What's the ranch? Oh, the
Yeah.
subdivision.
Did you get a
Dougie
picture of
lived in?
that at the very beginning?
In this episode?
Well, in any episode.
What's the Rancho Rosa?
It's the logo that flashes on the screen when the episode starts.
I don't think so.
No, you didn't.
No.
Kind of reminds me of it, though.
Okay. Didn't never notice that. It's almost caramel. The two acceptable answers are caramel and gold.
It looks to me like cream. Cream, which is an off-whitish color.
Cream color, or that's what you think the substance is?
Cream color.
Well, in that shot, it's a little bit glare from light. When you back up it's golden. Caramel is okay. All right. Anyway, we don't need to keep fighting about that. I mean, I don't need to keep being right about that.
So this part, Hawk is looking and saying, "What is that cream-colored liquid?"
He pees in it and turns it yellow. So she's writhing around. She's not really communicative. She's chattering or making little weird noises and stuff. It's really creepy and weird, but she's obviously distressed and needs help.
Right.
So, all right. So then,
and then there was another line from the original series that I thought was really important, and this one I do have, and I just can pull up. So go ahead, keep going, and I will come up with that line.
All right,
and here it is.
Okay, good, perfect.
Basically, I think that the line that is said by Agent Dale Cooper before he leaves Twin Peaks, as he's preparing to leave Twin Peaks, I should say, is, "Deputy Andy, your bravery is only exceeded by the size of your heart, a rare combination indeed."
Okay.
To show that Andy is a pure person who has a good heart, who purely loves and cares about people.
Yeah, Andy's a nice soul. I don't think he doesn't mean anybody any harm.
He's like the dopey Scarecrow,
right?
The Wizard of Oz.
Could be. Yep. And the Tin Man is Hawk because he has no. What was the Tin Man's problem? He didn't have any oil.
No heart.
He had no heart. Yeah.
And as we know, Hawk is just a heartless, careless murderer.
Yeah, Hawk is a super gentle, nice guy.
Yes.
Calm
and we know that Bobby likes to dress up like Dorothy on the weekends.
Well, of course. Who doesn't?
Wait a minute.
What?
Who was Bobby's father?
Briggs?
Major Garland Briggs.
Judy Garland?
Judy Garland Briggs.
Well, yeah. That's it. If that's a coincidence, that's a pretty substantial one. That might be more than a coincidence.
And who is Frank Truman's favorite Jackson? Tito. Which
Jackson.
is like Toto.
Exactly.
Anyway, they had to go 553 yards east, and now the time is 5:53.
2:53.
I'm dyslexic, apparently.
I'll say.
Holy crap. 253, thank you.
Yes, that's okay. So but then he says, "Hey guys, it's 2:53. Something might be happening now." And then, indeed, something does happen. We get another one of those sky vortexes. Doesn't seem to care about the trees at all. Just starts sucking up material, or things start moving around, and electricity crackling, and even a little bit of a light. And it forms this big tunnel. Kind of crazy. What do you make of this, James? What's going on here?
Well, I think there is
no
insignificance to the fact that he's holding her hand as he stares at it. I think the purity of Andy is what's opening the portal. I think the portal probably... Okay, no, I don't think it's what's opening the portal. I think the portal was always going to open at this specific place at this specific time per the instructions of Major Garland Briggs.
Right.
But I think that when the portal opens and it chooses, I think that his pure love and compassion and goodness is what causes him to be the one pulled through.
Yeah, like he's like a sacrificial child. He's got the innocence kind of going on, right?
Yeah,
I feel like I'm missing.
I wouldn't say sacrificial because it's an honor to be taken into the White Lodge.
I don't mean sacrificial in this setting. I mean like in we must find the virgin to appease the volcano.
And is that little tree right there? That's very apparently white.
Oh my God! Yeah, that wasn't there before.
Well, no, it wasn't.
Well, I don't think
so. Are you
so.
messing with me?
Did you notice it before?
No, but let's confirm this.
Oh wait, that might be it right there. Hold on. Sorry, we get some shot. Yeah, okay, it was right there.
Okay.
Sorry. It was obscured by the smoke.
Right, so as you would call it, this golden tree that's standing right there.
No, that's white. What color do you think that tree is?
The tree is clearly white, but you see white as gold.
No, I don't. I see colors as colors. I'm a fucking video editor, and I do color correction, too, and I spent the day
Is that why everything looks off?
I spent the day literally coloring in cartoon things, because I'm working on an important animation project.
What's the hex code for white?
00000.
Okay, you know yourself.
Or FFFFF or something. I don't do a lot of those code things, but
okay, fair enough.
I'm only pointing that out because it's not. I do have probably a higher than average awareness of color. Is what I'm saying.
And I've been seeing colors.
I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm just saying I've been sort of. Yeah, we've all been color ever since I saw Wizard of Oz.
We're all experts at seeing, except for people who were born without it.
I think the comments are going to prove out that you're out of your mind if you think this is white.
You have to. No, I'm not. For the last time, I'm not calling it white. I'm calling it cream-colored eggshell. Have you ever seen an eggshell?
Yeah, I have eggs every day. I went to the store and I bought some today. 18, $2.59. Nice discount. Yeah, I very much so.
They're like brownish off-white, cream colored. Anyway, moving on.
Whoa, this is the color of graham crackers.
Oh my god.
All right, let's keep going.
Anyway, that tree there, do you think that's not a sycamore? That's not a young sycamore, is it? Because the original entry to the lodge was surrounded by, I think, 12 sycamore trees.
I don't know what a sycamore looks like, but that's certainly a deliberate tree. I don't think this tree is actually in this real woods. I think they put that in there.
Yeah, it does look out of place.
Yeah. And it's interesting though. It's a good. I didn't pick up on that. But so the vortex chooses Andy,
yes,
right, or something, and off he goes, and he's gone. And so then he appears and he actually sits down real weird. He sort of walks up and sort of they do a lot of editing in this one where they kind of like skip a bunch of frames and stuff.
And you notice that his movements were backwards, reversed, as most things are in this kind of universe.
Yes. Is his hand bigger than his other hand, or is that just because he has it more forward?
It does appear to be bigger, but
no, he just has his knuckles.
His knee is more forward or something, probably.
This hand is more forward, somehow. Yeah. All right, so anyway, they look at each other. Why wouldn't Andy be worried? Wouldn't he be freaked out?
Well, because when you saw how everyone who goes into the lodge is sort of like in some sort of transcendental trance.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's absorbing information. He's not in the same frame of mind as he would be if he were on the outside.
Man, look at that jaw, huh? Jesus Christ. So where the hell is that? Okay, so anyway, he gives him that little crazy reverse speech. Fireman.
Which is incredibly interesting because we've only known him up until this point as the Giant.
The Giant.
Right.
Puts his fingers up. He's trying to just say live long and prosper.
So what do you think the fireman means?
Well, it's obviously related to burning. And the woodsmen who have charred faces, right? And maybe the atomic explosion. That's a bit of a stretch, but I think it's related to solving problems.
Okay,
maybe that's what firemen do. Usually, the problem they solve is fire and/or kittens, or your girlfriend wants to get a calendar.
But the log lady said at one point that to be careful to hawk because there's fire where you're going. And what does a fireman do? He is the opposition of the fire. He is the light amidst the chaos. He is the fighter of destruction.
Indeed. Yeah.
So it's almost as though he's establishing himself as something we already knew he was. He is an opposition to the woodsman. He's an opposition to the fire.
The Frodo to the Sauron.
Yes.
The ketchup to the mustard. The dog to the cat.
Yes.
The wind to the willows.
Sure.
All right, let's keep going. So then the smoke comes out of it. All of a sudden Andy's holding this thing, though. They don't even show him pick it up. But he's holding this thing in his hand. And I guess the smoke emerged from it, but it didn't really seem like it. It didn't
do a good job of showing that.
It didn't billow out. Like,
no.
So anyway, but the smoke kind of gets thicker, and then he sort of follows it as it goes up. And he sees a ceiling and this interesting light, kind of like a portal into sort of almost like a television. And so then we have this whole sequence where he looks up. Now this is definitely in reverse because of the way he was blinking.
Yeah.
His eyes would blink like we don't blink. We close I think we close our eyes and then open them a little bit slower. Mm-hmm. So this was in reverse.
That would make perfect sense given where he is. Yeah. But he is being entrusted with knowledge that no one else has. Stuff that is incredibly important and powerful that no human is aware of.
Yeah. Yeah, so he goes through all these visions. Like, is this the thing that appeared in that box inside that New York thing?
Yes, that we've been referring to as the mother all this time. But in the credits at the end, we'll come to find, I believe that is referred to as experiment.
Oh man, that's an interesting name. Okay, all right. And then we see this big pukey. Is this the same creature doing that?
Yes, this is the same creature, I presume, who is the primordial ooze extruding from the mouth and the birth of Bob.
And inside this was that like big black globule that was where Bob came from or something.
There he is. The birth of Bob.
Right there. With the face and the stuff and the other chunks. This looks like that jelly that your aunt makes with like grapes and stuff, you know.
That's horrible.
Those are good jellies. You know what I'm talking about? Not jelly.
Gefilte fish?
No, that's way worse. That's horrible. Although I would eat it if you put it in front of me. So he keeps seeing stuff. He sees the gas station. We've seen this before.
It's almost like this is being told in a chronological order because it's the birth of Bob, the emergence of the mother figure, the gathering of the woodsmen at the convenience store at the gas station.
Got a light.
The woodsmen coming about.
Yep. And these guys are creepy.
And then the basically electricity traveling. We see electric poles, and then it goes down the road as if to say these are the means by which these creatures travel. And then we see this shot, which you would recognize.
The day Laura Palmer was killed.
Exactly. We see the girl running across the field of the school before anyone knew what the somber mood was about, and they kind of figured out the empty desk, the girl screaming and wailing, the death of Laura.
With the angels, one on each side, is one evil, one good. On their, the
I would guess.
proverbial
I would
angels on
say
each
all
shoulder.
angels are bad, but
Really? I think all angels are pretty good. Do you think angels have abs? Do they have different genital sizes? Do you think some angels are like, man, I wish I had a big dick like that other angel over there? Or once you're in heaven and you're working for God, you don't have to worry about that anymore because God's the only one that gets genitals, kind of like Barbie dolls. All right, let's keep going. So anyway, he's taking it in. He doesn't seem to be too freaked out about it. But then we get a big jump to this. Well, how does this fit into the chronology?
the next shot would.
Oh, all right, that one.
Well, maybe it's not showing it yet. Maybe you didn't get the screenshot of it, but I felt like that was symbolic because it showed during one of the scenes of him holding her hand as though you were the key, the love, the big heart that you have is what allowed you to come in.
Okay. So that we missed a shot of Andy holding her hand. Then. Okay.
I think that actually happens a little bit later.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, maybe
Either that or you may have...
I was pressing on the... I was...
Oh, no, it's coming. It's coming. I see it.
Okay, cool. All right. So, and then he sees the Cooper. He sees this kind of flashing in and out. And it's both of them. It's Agent Dale Cooper and Evil Dobble Bobble Gang of Cooper Pooper. And then it finally splits up into two different faces. Interesting stuff there. Good job, Kyle MacLachlan. Way to go. A phone blinking.
Not just any phone.
Lucy's phone at work, or one of the work phone.
Frank Truman's phone.
Frank Truman's phone. So is this the phone call that he...
Yes, the phone call that Agent Cole gave to Frank Truman.
Yeah, with a blinking...
They very explicitly showed that blinking light, which he showed in this episode as well.
Yeah. So, and then we see Lucy coming in here, right? And
this one kind of confused me a little bit, because I could not tell if this was a shot from a prior episode or an event that happened in the past. I mean, Andy's gut here looks like it was shot recently.
Yeah.
But it's him with Lucy, the one thing in the world that he loves most of all. So maybe when he was holding the hand of NATO, he was thinking of Lucy, and that's where his pure love manifested and opened his pathway into the White Lodge.
Yeah. I think that's right. All right.
Or it could mean something completely else.
There's
there
the hand
again,
holding.
it cuts right to that. It's juxtapositioned with him holding her hand.
So he's there, and she's feeling some comfort. And she's probably been pretty freaked out. I would be if I was in her position. And then this thing. So now we see some white.
This was at
fences.
the Fat Trout Trailer Park in Fire Walk With Me, which we saw it again, even though the location of the trailer park changed. But this was the iconic telephone pole.
Right. Okay. There's the number 6-32481. All right. So he's still looking up, and Lurch is just paying attention, just like, oh, faint. So then the smoke kind of goes back into the thing, the genie back into the bottle,
and did you notice that little, fume, or what do you call it? The little thing, the
tuft?
This thing.
Nozzle.
Yeah, whatever that is. Does that not kind of look like the same shape as the Jackrabbit's Palace? A little bit, kind of.
Maybe a hair. I actually should have blocked it out, by the way, for
H-A-R-E.
YouTube restrictions. You don't want anybody to get aroused. That's a stretch, just because so many things have a central tubular nozzle shape that I don't think that necessarily. But yeah, it's kind of like a tree trunk.
Does it remind you of like a giant pine cone?
No, not yet. A little bit with this radial thing, but there is a pine cone later that we're going to talk about that I'm very excited. I got 45 minutes to say about that. So Andy takes it in and then disappears. Look at him, gone. Boop, 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 gone.
It's almost like he moves in fast motion for a moment and then he teleports back out.
Yep, it could be. It's kind of cool that the focus shifts a little bit on that lamp, so it all kind of looks interesting. There he is again. Okay, so, I mean, it's reminiscent, I guess. They did cut to the shot.
Yeah, I mean, not this part, but that part.
Oh, this part.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I don't know, it's a tree trunk. And then they're back and they're kind of walking around. They're sort of apparitional.
But they look a lot like the woodsmen in the scene in front of the convenience store.
Yes, it's very reminiscent.
It's almost as though
the forces of good.
Well, Andy is resyncing with time right now. He's waiting to sync back up or catch up with time so he can reemerge at the right moment.
Right. Bobby seems to dial in quicker. Is it because he's not walking around or just yeah? So anyway, he's looking up and seeing stuff. We need to get her down the mountain. So, all right. Andy's carrying her, and he wraps his jacket around her.
She says she is very important, and there are people that want her dead.
Okay. So he knows that. So he learned all that from the vision he had.
Yeah, he is basically... Well, I was going to use the Game of Thrones thing, but I can't do
Oh.
that. But he is basically like a seer now. He has information that makes him more sentient, or whatever you want to call it, more...
He's dialed into some knowledge that's not available to
Yes,
the other
but
guys.
he is not being forthcoming with it. He's a man of action now. He is getting something done that he knows needs to be done.
Right. And it's also the right thing to do. Like, whether you had that vision or not, you should help this person.
And it's also possible that he doesn't remember what happened inside the lodge, but now he has these instincts inside him that he's following.
Yeah. And plus he's saying, I always wanted to have nipples touching my shoulder.
Yes.
Okay, so he's like, he's a guest.
Bobby reacting to your comment.
All right, so what happened to us back there? So they all had something of an experience. So did they all get transported, though? Did they not recall walking back here?
Well, that was my take
Because they
on
were
it.
253 yards away or whatever that distance was.
So I assume they got teleported or they forgot the walk that they made back.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. All right, so now we're back to insects chirping. That's how insects sound. And they're putting her, giving her a nice little prison cell. Come on, you can't get her a hotel somewhere?
Well,
It's
I
not-
mean, they
just
need her
because
to
she's
be
blind, she doesn't deserve to have a nice little
She
room?
needs to be in a safe place, and being cops, that's the safest place that Andy knows of.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I know they're being nice with the robe and stuff, and they give her a bed or whatever, but like they leave her with these other prisoners around here. They don't even tell her. They don't even say anything to her. They just sit her down. Like, she's supposed to know what to do. You gotta say, hey, do you have a name? Can you talk? I mean, maybe they already tried that, but like, here's a pillow.
She just
Touch-
makes these like
You want some
chittering
water?
sounds,
Yeah, she's just
Almost
making weird noises.
like a bird in a cage.
Whoa, totally. Yeah. What if she starts pooping on newspaper? And okay,
And clinging to the bars with her feet alone.
but like grabbing seeds and then whipping her head around, and then some of the seeds go flying and they land on the carpet, and eventually you got to clean them.
Yes.
But then, this is not an environment for her. Maybe if all the other cells were empty, I can understand if they have limited space.
I mean, yeah, you would think that you get her to medical attention first.
Medical attention for sure for the.
But
open
as we know,
wounds.
like with Janie E and Dougie, people don't think about the obvious.
Yeah, I get it. I know it's Twin Peaks. We get it. But and then what's up with this guy? Do we have any idea what's going on with this?
What do we know about this guy? He only ever repeats what he hears. Who else only ever repeats what they hear?
Who else only repeats what they hear?
Doppelhanks.
Evil doppelhanky.
Right.
Hanky-panky.
So he's very much like Dougie in this sense, only he can string together much longer sentences, but he never says something unique. He only repeats what he hears.
Yeah.
And he's also bleeding from the mouth. It looks like he was actually shot in the side of the face, but he is bleeding from the mouth, and there's only one other reference that we've gotten up until this point of someone who was bleeding from the nose and the mouth. And who was that?
That was
Who was
Laura
also
Palmer.
who was also missing.
I have no idea.
Audrey was saying that Billy is missing. She had a dream that he was bleeding from the nose and mouth, and she was worried about him because sometimes dreams can be indicative of reality.
How do you remember that?
Because it comes up again in this episode.
Oh, okay. All right. Wow. All right.
And that means, could that possibly be Billy? He's not, I mean, it doesn't look like he's bleeding from the nose, but he's clearly is bleeding from the mouth.
Yeah, well, and his cheek looks like it's bandaged up, like he's had some sort of trauma to the face,
Right.
which could also cause it to be bleeding out your mouth. Yeah, I mean, he's this guy. I thought this guy was like a zombie, basically, but that's because
I think
the last 7 days to
him
die.
being repeating everything kind of speaks more to possibly maybe someone who is either possessed by a woodsman or maybe a doppelganger.
Or he's just drunk. Like this guy, maybe he's just boozed up and he got himself hurt in some sort of drunken accident, and he's just drying off inside the prison here at the
could be
local
that
sheriff's
too.
station. And then Chad here yells at him because Chad knows him. He might even be the guy that put him in there. Hard to say. But it's just
Or
very
it could be
peculiar.
Billy.
Yeah, it could be Billy. No, that's a good theory. I'm not in any way trying to deny that. Yeah, so his face is. Did we? Was there anybody that got hit in the face or shot or something?
Not that I can recall.
Yeah, I don't recall either. It was very strange. I didn't really know what to make of it all. And yeah, again, it looks like he needs more medical attention.
He looks like a piece of string tied around his
Yeah,
head
it's
that's
like
holding
twine.
the bandage on.
Or it's under the bandage right there, actually, but it's holding the gauze. I'm sorry, I had to be specific about that. But
I mean, why would they let him sit in a cell in this state? I mean, what kind of a police force is this?
this is terrible. This is really bad.
But the question then becomes something else.
All right.
Would they let a guy like that sit in a cell all by himself?
You're saying maybe he's not real?
Maybe he's not there.
So Chad is seeing him?
Maybe.
I mean, I guess if they want to introduce Chad's psychosis or something like that, like,
Why
like
not?
as if we need more people
It's not
having
weird enough as
weird
is.
visions. fucking nut house. It's funny. But it just like drips down, and they get a good shot of it landing on the ground, and it's just like the whole thing was just crazy. I just didn't know what to make of it. Again, not a good environment for a woman you find in the woods who's got her eyes sealed shut with cuts all over her face.
I had written down at the time to ask Hank if he thinks the color of the stuff in the ground slightly resembles the color of the pool at the White Lodge entrance, but I don't want to go there again.
Well, I don't remember the color at the White Lodge entrance. That's with the sycamore trees and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't remember the one you were saying that was gold?
No, I remember that one. That's the White Lodge entrance you're talking about.
That's what I believe.
Oh,
is
you're
the
saying
White Lodge.
is this the same color as
But that looks more like almost more like motor oil. So
yeah, I agree with that.
Seeing that a second time, I don't think that at all right now.
Well, this is not. It should be more red if it was pure blood, but it's like maybe it is a little brown kind of. Not.
It's very strange.
Watery-ish, brownish fluid, not quite like blood. Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Blood is sort of pretty uniform.
Yeah.
It's either dark. It's different shades of red usually, but yeah. Or it's green if it's James. I saw James bleed once, and he started screeching like an alien, and I had to. It took me 20 Band-Aids to get him to calm down. All right. So anyway, poor guy. Chad. Chad is stuck in a shitty situation too. Everybody's in a bad situation in that prison. So, all right, back to the what is this? The Great Northern Mountain Lodge.
The Great Northern Hotel.
Perfect. And he's smashing something.
Well, these walnuts. I'm not a nut person. But what does that say right there? Great Northern Hotel Security.
Okay.
So we find out that James, in his beautiful singing voice, is a security guard at the Great Northern Hotel.
Right.
And he is with this guy named Freddie, who is wearing a weird green glove and is crushing walnuts with an immense strength.
I think those are walnuts.
It could be a chestnut. It could be a walnut. I don't know. I'm not a nut person.
Some kind of nut. I think those are walnuts. You break those open with those old-timey pincher things, and you pick them out with the little knife thing. It's like your grandpa has that on his coffee table, basically. Here, turn the light on for James so you can see his notes a little better. That didn't help much.
Well, I'm good. Thank you, though.
Okay, so... so then we get into this whole story here about his glove, right? Basically.
Well, it takes a little bit longer, but he says after we're done here, they're basically waiting to sign for a delivery. So they're sitting out there, and he says, like, one more delivery. Once that delivery's over, we're going to go head to the Roadhouse. And he's like, oh, you're hoping to see Renee there. And he's like, oh, yeah, maybe, because don't you know Renee is a married woman? Because Renee is the one who was always looking at him with admiration, saying James was always cool. Yeah. That's the person. So he has a thing for her, she has a thing for him, but she is married, but that never really stopped James before.
Sure. Hey, why not? It's not his vows, right?
Yeah, so once they get past all that kind of stuff, they start going into how old are you? You know, it's 23. And the funny thing is, James says that it's his birthday.
Yeah.
This aired yesterday.
Which was your birthday.
And I'm James.
And you are James.
And I've always been cool.
And you have a beautiful singing voice.
Yes.
Let's hear you sing something. Sing You Are Beautiful no matter what they say or however that goes.
Let me cue it up on YouTube.
The trick is to put your finger near your head and move it around.
That always works on American Idol.
You are beautiful.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Yeah,
no matter what they say, words can't bring me to...
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to hear that.
Nobody wants to hear me either. I sound like a whale's voice box being abused in a lab. So you really can't take that thing. So he's asking him about this glove thing. He's like, "Why can't you take that thing off?" So it's part. Now he has the whole. This is his quirky story.
Yeah, he says it's a part of me, and the doctor once tried to take it off, and I started bleeding.
So he's not
bleeding from where though?
Well, I assume the hand. I don't think he peed blood or something like that. But you ever peed blood, James?
No.
I pooped blood once. Actually, more than once. I have a hemorrhoid. All right. And seeing you as how it's your birthday and about so he gets in a story about I don't know.
And did you know this guy actually has a YouTube channel where he does examples of accents from around the world?
This actor here?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
So I don't know if he's American, if he's British or what. I didn't watch his video, but I saw someone point that out. So maybe this whole UK accent that he's throwing off is fake.
Oh, could be.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
I bought it.
Sure, I bought it too. In the pub so he's talking about being out with his friends, and then he went down the alley, jumped on a stack of boxes, and somehow it changed. I don't know. He got sucked up in this vortex. I'm just reading what it says.
Yeah, which is the same kind of vortex that the Bookhouse boys of the modern day saw in the woods. Right. So... the same that Agent Gordon Cole saw when he went to the zone, basically.
Yeah. So what are we learning, though? We're learning so he met the fireman.
He met the fireman. He was pulled into the White Lodge. He didn't know why he was being pulled into the White Lodge, but the fireman said, go to a hardware store near your flat, find a pack of green kitchen gloves.
Yeah, he said it right there.
With the package already open.
Gardening gloves.
Yes, and get the glove.
Yeah, so then this whole thing with like the store clerk wouldn't let him buy the package because it was open. And
yeah, but he said that your right hand will possess the power of a pile driver.
Yeah, So that's how you can crush nuts and they turn into smoke.
Yes.
Okay.
So there actually is something to it. And there was this big long story about the guy who wouldn't sell it to him because the package is open, got in kind of this tussle, so he throws the money down and walks out, and the guy chases him, and he runs away, and the guy tackles him, and he turns around and pops him with the gloved hand and cracks... It's a figure of speech. He goes, I think I cracked his Jeffrey or something, or...
Yeah, something like that. A job's worth?
No, it's... hopefully you'll get it. Keep going.
All right. So he insists on buying the glove here, screaming, I can't have the glove. So, yeah, you jumped... Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this whole story isn't all that...
I know. I was taking lots of screenshots because I thought it was important.
Here it is.
I hear a crack, and by the way, it's head tilting and I'm trying to talk.
His Gregory. I fear I've snapped his Gregory.
Does that mean neck?
Maybe.
Like he hit him so hard he killed him with his powerful Hulk hand?
That's a reference I don't really understand.
So he's just got those grip powers, or he can punch with it, or it's just like an indestructible hand, but it's in a rubber glove?
Yeah, and there was... because the giant, or the fireman, told him to do it.
Yeah. Boy, he better be careful.
And it's the right hand, right?
Yeah, it's his right
So
hand.
it brings me to wonder, if the package is already open and the right-hand glove gave him those powers, who then might have the left glove?
Good question. That's a valid question. What do you think?
I don't know. Maybe there's an evil person out there who has the left glove, who was...
Or there's some lady out there who just has a really, excavated garden.
Yes, she's a kleptomaniac who stole a single glove from the store.
But she has this powerful hand, and she just doesn't even need a shovel. She just digs it out.
She's right-handed, so she hasn't discovered the strength of it until she will find out to her own detriment.
That could be. Just as long as he's careful when he masturbates, otherwise he can cause herself some real damage. Don't want to break too many nuts. You know what I mean, James? Who touches their balls when they do it? Come on, it's weird. All right, so, oh man, what a kid. Look at him. Look at his mouth.
Yeah. So he says the giant, basically, or the fireman, we should call him now,
all right,
says that his destiny is in Twin Peaks, and that he should, once he has the glove on, he is to come to Twin Peaks. And he said, why me? And the fireman said, well, why not? And then he found himself with a plane ticket without even having purchased it himself.
Okay.
So the universe aligned and got him to Twin Peaks, where he is to find his destiny.
So are we to assume he's going to play some sort of pivotal role in some sort of resolution of the final story, or is he going to steal Renee from Jimmy or something like that? Or
no, he has.
But he was sent with a positive
He
mission.
obviously has a role to play, and he was sent by a good entity, so he has a positive thing to do, I would say.
Yeah, I think so.
But the thing is, I was looking on Reddit because I was confused. What could this glove possibly symbolize? Because think about it. It's like Jerry Horn's foot. I am not your foot. The evolution of the arm. Squeeze his hand off. There's a lot... Mike, the one-armed guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of symbolic past references with body appendages. But in this particular case, I couldn't figure out what they were going for this. So I scoured around, and the only thing that seemed a little bit interesting to me online was one person saying, well, it's a rubber glove, right? Rubber is an insulator against electricity, so maybe it's the perfect weapon to use against entities of the lodge.
Okay.
Okay, I'm okay with that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And they also said, look what color it is. Green is the color for mica table.
Oh, yeah. The owl
same
ring,
color as
right?
the owl ring, which
Yeah.
was carved from the Formica table upstairs in the convenience store. So
Wow.
it's a bit of a stretch. It's
I think it's enough to convict.
but it's more than I had going into it. So thank you, internet.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's something there probably. We'll find out more about what this guy's up to later on. Mechanical clanking.
He's got a Hulk hand.
So this is so that Jimmy comes, or not Jimmy, James.
What do you call
yeah,
that,
Jimmy.
Tim?
Jimmy, right? I got it right. I second guessed myself.
Yeah,
so
he
much.
went to check on the furnace.
Right.
And there's this foreboding music playing. It's almost like he's in Freddy Krueger's industrial labyrinth.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit creepy and scary and stuff. And so what does he find in here? What does he find, James?
It's coming from a door.
He sees a door, and that's it, right?
Yep.
We just always see the door.
know.
We don't know, so we don't get to see that. So then we're at the Elks Point bar. All the bars have these neon. Everything seems to be this bright reddish, pinkish. That's reddish, I guess, neon. So Sarah Palmer, smoking and drinking. Old Sarah Palmer, billiards balls clacking faintly.
Which is kind of weird because I had this notion of her that she was kind of a shut-in, that she didn't go out very much.
Right.
But it seems like that's not... Maybe she goes out at night. Maybe that still makes her a shut-in. I don't know.
Maybe she's tired of watching boxing.
Yeah, maybe I didn't have enough information to make an assessment that I made. So
wow, who could have ever seen that coming with Twin Peaks analysis? So she goes in, fucking Budweiser, product placement. No, I'm just joking around. Bars have
it's
that
the
shit
king
all.
of beers.
Yeah, so she's the queen of vodka, but she sits down and she orders a what? Oh, so this is right about where I fell asleep because my finger was on the print screen button. So we've got a lot of screenshots here.
Wow. You picked like such a great moment.
I was up late doing Game of Thrones editing and animating, and then I woke up early to publish it because it uploaded overnight. And
speaking, I was about to say that if I had a green glove, I would have punched you awake with it, but
that would be fair.
Think about it again. When was the last time we saw a hand showing a feat of strength? Arm wrestling.
Oh, evil Doug.
Do you think this guy could have? Well, maybe. I guess the question is, does the strength of the hand extend down into the arm? Because the arm is really what's doing the hard work there.
Sure, but if you have that strength in your hand, you just squeeze the hand, and the guy has to submit.
Yes. I
hate arm wrestling dudes when they just squeeze your hand. I do it every week down at Arm Wrestling Club.
Yes.
And the only rule we have is that you must talk about arm wrestling. Okay. Because that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, this guy here, he's hanging out by a deer, having a shot and a beer. He's having a good time. Just one of those bar dudes. His arm looks a little crazy. That's just because his skin is being pressed in by the elbow rest. But there he is, and he comes over, starts giving her some shit, right, James?
Yes, he introduces himself as I am Truck You.
There he is. There, he's got the shirt Truck You. That's the closest you'll ever get to swearing.
Closest, yes.
Yeah, I was asleep during this, but I did see the screenshots when I went through and deleted the about 800 that I accidentally took that I didn't mean to take.
I need to have like a motion sensor on you the whole time, a cowbell around your neck.
I understand people be like, these fucking guys asleep and he's doing reviews about this shit. It's like, yeah, just like a couple minutes. The thing is, when you fall asleep with your finger on the print screen button, it cues a bunch of keystroke like commands, so it takes more screenshots than what I. So yeah,
I guess this answers Monica Belushi's question: who is the dreamer? It's Hank.
I'm dreaming. I had to dream about getting another parking ticket. Yeah. Would you sit back and no? I dreamt I got a flat tire. That's even worse than a parking ticket. She doesn't want him around her. He's putting out a bad vibe, right? Mm-hmm. Is that fair?
Yeah, she's there for her own purposes, for her own vices.
He tries to prove that he's illiterate, man. He likes to play a little word play. Women love a good pun. But he makes a terrible choice and calls her a cunt.
Yeah, like every classy man who is being rejected by a woman immediately jumps to, well, you must be a lesbian then if you don't want this great piece of manhood right here.
Yeah, well, that's it right there. That's pretty offensive and insulting to her. And,
another reason I think
Jesus,
whatever power that be, is that I am not a woman, because I couldn't deal with that crap.
Women have to put up with a lot of shit.
They do, and that would suck.
They definitely, and it's certainly not.
So hats off to ladies.
I have a lot of respect. Like you see women like walking by themselves at night, and like they're more susceptible to threats than. Well, I'm 6'2", 200.
I was more so thinking about just being bothered by people.
Well, there's that too, but yeah, and no one tells me to smile. That's for sure. Yeah. So I think it's okay to acknowledge that their experience is different than ours as males versus females. There's nothing wrong with some guys will hear that and go like, men have problems too. Yeah, life is hard for everybody. But
I can say I've never had this happen to me. There's that.
And if a woman came up to me and said this, I'd be like, all right, let's go to your car. You got a Prius? I'll shave a circle around my mouth if it helps. So anyway, he turns into a piece of shit, and she doesn't like it, understandably. Like, hell you will, you miserable bitch. And this is also what causes a lot of fights where like you have to defend your girlfriend or something, or she starts fighting him and then you got to get in there and fight, and it's like so anyway, he threatens to pull off her lesbian titties. That's not nice. Come on, man. Why would you say that? You weirdo. You jerk.
I'm just picturing David Lynch writing that line and saying it out loud.
I would. Go ahead. You want to say it?
No, I'm not going to say
I'll fucking pull off your little lesbo titties off.
You said off twice.
I said off twice, didn't I? I like that. I like that David Lynch called up friends of his to test out the line.
Yeah.
Hey, David Bowie, do you think this is a good line? Why am I calling your grave? How are you still talking?
I still have hope that David Bowie will make a cameo in the series before it's over.
Like Emperor, not the Emperor, the guy from Rogue One, where they had an animated dude.
No, because David Bowie actually died after the Log Lady died, and after Doc Hayward died.
Oh, okay.
So there's a chance it could happen.
He could come up. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. So yeah, this piece of shit, and she turns on him though. She looks at him.
You missed something. Go back.
All right.
Oh, you missed the only important line of that whole exchange.
Well, I had it. I must have deleted it. Lesbo titties? Off?
No, she responds to him and says, "I'll eat you."
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I wish I didn't miss that.
The heck was that?
Something's going on James's iPad there. All right. Everything's...
Yep. Okay. Don't worry about that.
Okay, we're good. Anyway, so she says, "I'll eat you." That sounds like a threat. Mm-hmm. Pretty hard thing to do to somebody, though. But then she pulls a little magic trick here. Hand goes in front of her face, reaches in, grabs the face, and separates it. Now, we've seen this. Who else did this?
We saw Laura Palmer do this in the lodge, and
That's
she
right.
had pure light coming from behind her face.
She did that in front of Dale Cooper.
Dale Cooper, yes.
Yeah. So she does this here, and what's inside now? We get kind of like a wispy, smoky, lighted thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But it also turns into like a hand.
It's another thing inside of her, and the thing inside of her is also pulling off its face.
Right. In reverse, sort of, right? Or no? Is that correct? Is that one finger darkened compared to the rest?
Is that because remember when David Lynch was talking, or Cole was talking on the plane about the spiritual finger? Maybe that's a reference to that.
I don't know, but I'm going to try that pickup line next time. All right. Okay, and then there's a face that's mouth, teeth and stuff. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Mostly a mouth, yeah.
Do you really want to fuck with this? That's actually a pretty good line. It's terrifying. Look at that. It looks like the Cheshire Cat.
It does, kind of, yeah.
Kind of like, hello there. All right, so he's like, oh, crap. Oh, jeez, that's not... Oh, boy, I'm drunk. I've had a little bit too much. And she puts it back on. Lets him know that you messed with the wrong lady. Pal. Ominous hiss, which is also the same sound snakes make. And then she goes in, and we see a real fast movement here. We did get some screenshots, and she chews off his chin through his neck. Which I thought was a very interesting choice, that they actually decided to cut it off like right there. I like that they did that. So he goes, ah, crap, ah! And he
goes, truck you!
She chops out his jugular or whatever the heck's going on there in the neck, and gargling. She kills him, basically, right?
More than basically, yeah. She literally kills him.
Yeah, literally kills him. So that was a pretty exciting death.
So the question then becomes, what did we just see?
Truck you, James. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it was her, because she immediately kind of snaps out of it and freaks out.
Well, she's acting, I believe.
Oh, you think so?
So here's something strange about this.
Can I keep going through while the guy comes up, or do you want me to hold?
Well, I mean, you can go as long as you don't leave the scene.
Yeah, all right, we'll stay in the scene.
But basically, if you freeze frame it at just the right moment, you can see what looks like a proboscis coming out of the face.
Of her face.
Of her interior face.
Okay.
It looks a lot like the darn proboscis from that weird bug thing. So
is it this thing here?
No, that's a finger.
Oh, all right. We must have missed it.
Yeah, I think you missed it. That's okay.
All right.
But the thing is that I understand that the girl in the flashback in New Mexico, a lot of people say it's not Sarah Palmer. And the reason they say it's not Sarah Palmer is because Sarah Palmer was established to be a local, or she grew up in a different place. She did not grow up in New Mexico. There's nothing that connects her to New Mexico. Plus, the timeline would make the age difference be a little bit slightly different, where the girl does not look like she would be the right age to be Sarah Palmer.
Okay.
I completely get that. But I'm wondering if there's some sort of connection here. If there is a doppelganger within Sarah Palmer, can a doppelganger possess another person? Is that the real Sarah Palmer? Is she trapped in the lodge? Or that sound that we saw heard in the kitchen that we assume was the grocery bag boy, was that the real Sarah Palmer trying to escape?
Right.
Has this creature come in and taken her place?
Sure. It's taken over. And maybe that's the case. Maybe she...
But...
Well, maybe that explains why she's out at a bar instead of being at home watching boxing.
What did she yell in the grocery store when she was freaking out?
2 weeks.
No,
2 weeks.
She said something happened to me. Men are coming.
Right.
So it's almost as though we know she is not human at this point. She is possessed by something that is possessed by something. Is this the mother figure? Is this the hoo-ah of Babylon?
Wow, that's a swear word. Hoo-ha?
Hoo-ah.
Hoo-ah.
That's Al Pacino from Sin of a Woman.
Hoo-ah!
Yeah.
You killed walking your doggy?
Yes.
Heat.
Yes.
Starring
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
So
and the other Al Pacino? Robert.
Downey.
Can't think of his name right now.
De Niro.
Super famous. Robert DeMoney.
So what is this thing?
Little bit.
Is this
little bit?
Yeah. Is there any chance in your mind that
Yes.
Sarah Palmer was that girl many years ago who had that frog bug thing crawl inside of her?
Well,
Because,
I mean, okay, first of all, if I answer that, I want people to know that this is bullshit, because I am not in any way educated enough on the ins and outs of all this stuff to have an opinion that should be considered valid. But I do think that might have been Sarah Palmer. I don't think that frog bug impregnated her. I just think that frog bug set in motion some sort of condition, or established some sort of disorder or condition, or laid in wait for her to grow up a little bit and become pregnant eventually. Mm-hmm. So that when she did have a child, the child would be haunted or whatever, or cursed or something.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
But again, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I've also read on a lot of occasions that David Lynch will refer to history that was written by Frost and say, well, that's Frost's history, not mine.
Okay.
So it could mean that because, Frost established like birth dates and backstories for these characters, does that necessarily mean that Lynch abides by that?
Again,
which would mean that this could possibly be her, that her story doesn't necessarily have to start somewhere other than New Mexico, that her birth date doesn't necessarily have to be 19 whatever it was.
Well, that's awfully convenient for changing someone's backstory.
It could be, yeah, I know. But I couldn't help but see what looked like the proboscis.
Okay, all right, that's very interesting. I missed that. I wish I had caught that screenshot, because I have I could have not deleted it. I must, because I deleted a whole bunch really quickly, kind of randomly picking them. But all right, so now we're at the Bang Bang Bar, right?
Yes,
we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting to the end, you guys. Hang in there. So cars whooshing around. These two. Do you recognize these characters at all?
I don't recognize these characters, but they have something important to say.
All right, tell me what that is.
They go through this little story until they get to the real meat of what's going on.
Yeah.
One of them says, "Have you seen Billy?" And Billy, this is a very important piece of information, because the first time we've heard about Billy was when a kid, basically the kid Bing, David Lynch's son, runs in at the end credits into the Double R Diner and says, has anyone seen Billy? Mm-hmm. He runs off. Then we hear Audrey, the leading theory being she's in a coma from the bank explosion and hasn't really reemerged, is saying that she's looking for Billy, that he's missing.
Okay.
And that she had a dream that he was bleeding from the nose and the mouth. And that dreams are sometimes indicative of things that happen in reality. So she's worried about him and wants to go to the roadhouse to see if he's there.
Right.
And that the last person to see him alive was Tina.
Yes. So
and people who subscribe to the coma theory were saying that perhaps this is one side of a phone call that she's hearing at her bedside that someone is having, which is why Charlie can't communicate the other side to her, because Charlie is a manifestation of her mind. Therefore, because she doesn't know the other side of the conversation, Charlie cannot tell her that. But also, this story is of this girl recounting having seen Billy running through her backyard, jumping a 6-foot fence, running through the back door, bleeding from the nose and mouth into the sink,
scaring everybody,
not saying a word, and then busting back out of there.
Yes.
So this corroborates the dream Audrey had. So does this mean that Audrey might not be in a coma? Does this change the assumptions that people have of that particular theory? And there's something else that she said.
Or it's a physical manifestation of that coma too. That just the reality of her, or the way they're presenting her being trapped in a coma extends to real people or something.
But there's something else that happened here that I caught on to that really made me wonder. Yeah. What did Cole say about Cooper in his dream?
Okay, Cole say, I don't know. He's handsome.
He said Agent Dale Cooper was there, but I couldn't see his face. Right. Have you ever had a dream where you understand that someone is present there?
Yeah.
And to you, that person is absolutely there, but you never see them.
Yeah, totally. You feel someone's presence, but you're not. They're not.
Yeah, they're written into the story of your mind, but you never really see them.
Sure, that happens a lot.
Yeah. So she says in 2 different occasions here, I don't remember if my uncle was there.
Right.
Now, why would she mention that twice? Is Chuck the uncle, or I'm not quite sure.
I have no idea.
Is it because maybe she is dreaming this, that this is another alternate reality, that she is within a similar dream state that Audrey is? I don't know.
Yeah.
But the uncle line is confusing me, and I'd really like to know what people think about the uncle line.
Okay, yeah, we want to hear what people think, because I have no fucking idea, man. I couldn't even begin to figure out what you're talking about.
Okay.
I love that you're able to articulate all that so well, because you're pulling up names, you're pulling up connections, you're pulling up relationships, and it's like, whoa. Because I want to be like, slow down. We need a flow chart. We need a lot of time to sit here and process this. We need a whiteboard. We need to get some red twine, and
eggshell
make connections.
Whiteboard.
Eggshell whiteboard or gold if you're cool. So it's impressive that you're able to thread all those questions or all those people together. I know you're asking questions. You're not actually making declarative statements.
No, I'd rather not throw out garbage. I want to.
No, you're not. You're not throwing out garbage. You're presenting an effective starting point for a discussion, and I appreciate that. And speaking of discussion, pine cone time! So this looks like a canary pine. These are beautiful pine trees that grow in the Los Angeles area, where I've gotten most of my pine cone collection. They are imported during the, I don't know what time that was, but there was a time when LA city planners were designing roads and streets, and they imported these pine trees because LA has a similar climate to the Canary Islands from which they receive these pine trees. And the pine cones are very woody. They're nice and firm and solid, and they're wonderful. And if you want to, I have pine cones on my Instagram if you want to look at them. They look pretty cool. But I would like to get a sequoia pine cone. I'm not even sure if it's legal to have them because they're like a fucking rare tree or something like that. But they're really big and they're really cool. So, all right, there's the pine cones. Why do they have a pine cone on the end of the microphone thing, James?
I love in this episode, there was a moment that we kind of glossed over where Cole busts in and goes, "It's coffee time!"
Oh, really?
And then you're like, "It's pine cone time!"
It's the best. I love pine cones. Come on, they're free decorations. What, do you buy decorations like a fucking sucker?
It's basically forest vomit.
No, it's not. It's forest gonads.
Pretty well, yeah.
Yeah, they're hermaphroditic tree gonads. Why don't you man up and pick up pine cones? And they're also fun to touch. It's like holding a massage. You ever squeeze one?
Holding a massage?
Like give a good firm fucking squeeze. Your finger gets all these pressure points. It's really nice.
Massage ball?
No, well, like the pressure points. Pine cones have little spikes all over them. Not if it's too spiky.
But a massage is something. It's a physical act. It's a verb to massage.
Hey, earth to literal, boy. It's not supposed to make sense.
Holding a massage. I've never heard that.
Someone who can analyze Twin Peaks, and you freak out when I say holding a pine cone is like holding a massage. You can spend 18 hours talking about, did David Lynch's dick skin make me write a poem? Yeah, it's fun. They're fun to hold. Is all I'm saying.
You can say it's massaging your hand to hold it.
Yeah, holding a massage. Why does that not make sense?
I've just never heard that before.
All right, well, aren't you lucky to know me?
Has anyone else heard something like
$5.
that?
No, nobody's heard anything like that. Only kooks talk like that.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I get it. Plus, they're fun to burn. They burn cool.
I've heard you can hold a tiny masseuse.
There you go. Yeah.
Wow. Hello, right. iPad.
That's right. It's okay. It's okay, Papa. But then we got a little song kicking in, and the crowd is actually having fun for the first time here.
I actually really dig the song.
I didn't hate the song. And this woman
had
a nice voice.
A good, unique, strong voice, and she's got all that.
Yeah.
I'm Lizzie. I'm gonna look her up.
Lizzie.
Maybe buy some of her music.
SSI.
Lizzie?
Yeah, it was 2 S's. But she has that voice where when she goes into like that overdrive mode, she still has control. Like that's like the mark of a good singer, as if I can fucking tell. I know Mariah Carey is known for having a pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's the extent of my knowledge.
Yeah. What is she drinking? Beer.
Stig something beer.
I guess their product placement with Heineken ran out.
Yeah, apparently so. But she's singing and dancing. She's got a band, and
she's not dancing.
Well, she's moving around a little bit. They're dancing. They're having a blast. This kind of generic soundstage sort of.
Was that a Heineken being held up?
Probably, or a Rolling Rock, maybe something. There's other green ones out there. Anyway, everybody's having a good time. Generic dancing, it's fun. People are going to be getting generic laid later on. That's why people go out. And there you go. I think we're pretty much there, though, right? Wasn't this the end? We took a bunch of screenshots anyway because those are the lyrics slipping.
But we got to get to the credits.
Yes, as always. Starring Kyle MacLachlan.
Yes.
That's always a nice... Whenever I see that, I'm like, oh, thank God.
And he showed up just as a flash of the duality between Mr. C and...
Yeah, he was not.
He was barely there.
Yeah. Yeah, similar to that one episode where his only role in the episode was getting hit by a ball thrown by his son, Sonny Jim, or his not son, who he's going to abandon as soon as he becomes the man he's supposed to be. So Sonny Jim is going to lose a dad? Or is they going to bring back Dougie?
But then that brings up the whole Star Child theory as to what is Sonny Jim? He was born of a pseudo construct of a person from the lodge.
Maybe Janie E is in on it because she knows Diane now.
Maybe.
Who knows? All right, well, cool. Okay, so there's the cast. Anything that stands out in here?
So the weird guy in the jail cell, the drunk.
Voice? Nathan Frizzle. Sorry.
Voice.
Yep.
Yes.
There it is. Okay.
So he was dubbing over the voice of David Bowie for some as of yet unknown reason.
Okay.
Erica Anon experiment is the mother thing floating through space, barfing up the primordial soup, I believe.
Where?
Why? Dead Metal.
Oh, right there. Yeah.
Why she's called an experiment, I don't quite know. That's very interesting to myself.
Okay, all right. And then you said you were going to say something about the drunk.
Well, you know, this is
this
the fact that they didn't say drunk parentheses Billy.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't confirm my very, very far-stretched pseudo-theory that could possibly be Billy.
Oh, and Monica Bellucci played herself.
Yes, she did.
Still don't have no idea who that is at all. All right, so there's more to hear. Nado.
Yep.
Yuki. I think it's just a Japanese name.
It could be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Lissy's There's the Band that you like so much. That's good.
Do you
I
think
know
Trucker
I'm going to
is
get you for your
you?
birthday. I'm going to learn how to sing those songs.
It's too late.
And sing them to you while you're sleeping.
You missed it.
I know. I don't give a shit.
Dare you?
Do you care about that?
No.
A little bit?
No.
No.
Not even the slightest
My
bit.
family, like my grandma and my mom, they fucking freak out. Like, oh, hey, we're gonna go out on Thursday for your birthday. I'm busy. Can we do it Friday?
my idea-
But Thursday's your birthday. If we don't, it's like, what does it fucking matter? None of us give a shit.
Yeah, my idea of a successful birthday is one where no one finds out.
Yeah.
And I get through the whole day.
I've had friends for years that don't know when my birthday is.
Yeah.
I was 1 year on Facebook where I had my birthday publicly available, and I just couldn't handle it. And I love attention. I like it.
No,
but it's just so insincere. I don't
it's people take their time. I appreciate.
No,
I got
true.
a bunch of people on Twitter, which I didn't respond to, and saying happy birthday. People in the comments, and I truly appreciate
from
that.
Game of Thrones.
From Game of Thrones.
Yeah, see, the system works.
I absolutely appreciate it. Those guys are awesome, and I thank you all.
All right, great. Well, they're not going to see this part probably.
Probably
So
not.
you should tweet them back and thank them.
I will.
Later on. Anyway, but yeah, I'm not a big birthday guy. I just don't. It's just a little embarrassing.
Yeah.
The whole thing. It's like really, just because I didn't die.
No.
You got to do something. I do like going out for Chinese food, but you can do that not on your birthday. All right, so there you go. More singing, more dancing, and we reach the end. Okay, so that's it basically, right? Wasn't there something at the end there that? Oh, in memory of David Bowie.
Yep. Which makes me also think that perhaps maybe he doesn't come back. The fact that they show him for the first time from the Fire Walk With Me scene in this one means that they don't have any footage of him.
Is he in the credits? He should be. Phil Jeffries, right?
He should be. Yeah, I would think so. Go back up. He's got to be there. Yeah, Phil Jeffries, David Bowie.
All right, go. Somewhere in here.
Yep, right there.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Why can't I see it? Oh, here. I was like, I was looking on this. My
And
mind
you
was.
call my eyes bad, Mr.
No, it
Golden.
wasn't an eye problem. I was just blocking out the left side.
Yeah. It's just a brain problem.
It's a brain problem, not an eye problem. Anything to add to this, though? I mean, how many episodes are left? 15. This next will be 15, 16, 17, 18. So 4 are left.
I think so. That could be right.
What do you think is going to happen now? I mean,
I think I'm going to cry
in the home
profusely
stretch.
when it's over.
Really?
I don't want
I'm
to
going to
end.
cry too. I'm going to cry tears of joy. No, I'm
Just-
joking around. Any predictions for this end of this, or like where we're
I
headed?
think probably the most foolhardy thing you can do is to try to be arrogant enough to think you can predict David Lynch.
Fair point. That said, let's hear your predictions.
I think it'll be a lot more screen time for Cole.
Okay.
He will do more weird stuff. He will have more weird audio interruptions.
Wait a minute. Didn't you predict that Cooper will become Cooper again in 3 episodes? Would that be?
Has it been 3 episodes already?
I think this would have been 3 episodes.
Son of a... Well, he did become Cooper again. They just didn't show it.
Oh,
He
perfect.
was off-camera Cooper.
Yeah. That's why you
OCC.
should be vague about everything. That way,
Yes.
Everything's open to interpretation, and therefore nobody can ever be right or wrong, but they can still fight over it.
Which
on
is how
Reddit
David
and on-
Lynch lives his life.
in YouTube comments. I have a shit ton of respect for David Lynch. Even though I can tease him and crap, but the guy does what the hell he wants. I think that is really unique in our world. So many people make compromises and stuff, and I'm sure he thinks he makes compromises in his own mind, but he does what he wants, and people have obviously taken to it. It certainly serves a need or a want in a certain segment of the viewing public and in the market, and I think the guy deserves to be respected and acclaimed the way it is. So yeah.
You notice that Megan was played by Shane Lynch
Shane Lynch.
down the very bottom?
Nope, did not know that. Is that somebody related to David?
I would assume so.
Yeah, probably.
Do you think Megan was one of the people at the table at the very end? I don't quite recall.
Yeah, I don't know who Megan was. Yeah, maybe. Could be. Maybe Megan was the face inside Sarah Palmer's face.
Yes, the giant mouth.
Yeah, the huge Cheshire cat face. So, all right, well, there you go. Anything else, James?
Nope. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode.
Good.
I loved it. I did not fall asleep.
I'm tired a lot. And things have been busy.
You are basically Charlie.
I am Charlie.
And I'm Audrey in this sense, saying, I want to do Twin Peaks, but I'm so tired.
But James, I have to stay in. I just thought, yeah. All right, so there you go, guys. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean. I wasn't trying to. I also fall asleep when I lay down. I'm good at I just fall asleep when it's dark. It was dark.
I'm gonna make you stand for every
I
episode.
should.
Now.
I should. I need to take a nap before these
I'm
things.
gonna hook up the print screen button to a foot pedal. You just stomp it.
Or put a dog collar on with the electric shocker and then hit me whenever.
So you just gotta scream, screech off, screech off.
Yeah. Ow! No, James. Oh no. Okay, that's all we got, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Join up. Hit us up on Twitter @VideoJamesSP. Say happy birthday. I know it's a little bit late, but he'll love to hear from you, and it's gonna get him addicted to Twitter, just like he is on Reddit. And then @SuckProfessor too, if you want to. Yeah, keep the conversation going. Thanks for putting up with me. I apologize, and I welcome James's input. And I will say that fluid was definitely off-white.
No, it was gold.
Yes. See, reverses. We
Yes.
reversed our mirror land. Good night, guys. Bye, James.
Wasn't gold.
It was fucking gold or caramel.